Hello and welcome to Revamped, a rewatch podcast covering my all-time favorite shows and movies. I'm your host, Brandon Alexander.
And I'm your co-host, Courtney Autumn.
Together, we've been journeying through Buffy the Vampire Slayer, patrolling the streets of Sunnydale, but now our path expands beyond the Hellmouth as we continue to follow Buffy's battles and growth.
We also step into the shadowy streets of Los Angeles to join Angel on his quest for redemption and his fight to discover what it truly means to be a champion.
Venture with us through every episode in order as we experience the story from two perspectives, Courtney's first time watch and my seasoned rewatch, doubling down on the themes and moments that shape the Buffyverse.
We'll examine pivotal choices, major story arcs, and explore the deeper layers of each show's continued character growth and development.
All while engaging in conversations and sharing our own authentic thoughts and feelings to what's unfolding before us.
So sharpen your stakes, ready your swords,
and continue to stand with us against the forces of darkness as we journey through the supernatural worlds of Buffy the Vampire Slayer
and Angel.
Let's get into this episode.
We just came from Angel, I know for a fact.
Well, here we are. That was funny. I literally should have pushed record in time for that, but I'm recording now. All came in here and was like, hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Revamp. Today we're covering Angel. And as soon as I said that, Courtney was like, what the fuck?
No, we're not.
Just kidding, but for sure, welcome back. Obviously, we're not here to cover Angel. We're here to cover Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 4, Episode 11.
Doomed.
It sounds like us in the outro.
Or I should say, doomed.
I'll clip it. That way I can finally get it right. Let's do the count, say it at the same time thing. I'm just kidding. Let's not.
No, that will be here forever.
And I don't feel like being doomed. This episode aired January 18th, 2000, and was written by Marty Noxon, David Fury, and Jane Espenson, directed by James A. Courtney. Got James Courtney in 2 episodes in a row. He was over there on Angel too. And I have to say our RIP moment. I have to give us the sads because we've officially left the 90s behind us. We're not in the 90s anymore on the show. We're officially in the 2000s.
Dang.
I know.
The end of the greatest era.
I'm trying to get comfortable. I just can't. I think I might be comfortable now. We'll see. So yeah, I don't think it's been there before. I know there's been co-written episodes that have doubled the writer on it, but this time we have the triple, which is insane because it's like Marty Noxon, David Fury, and Jane Espenson, like I said. I feel like Jane had to just slip some random stuff in here because of the funny stuff that she typically is known for writing, and David Fury is usually a lot more serious, which we can get the serious tones that came from this, and Marty Noxon just likes to fuck shit up, so I'm assuming she's to blame for all the Buffy Riley drama this episode. I did find a little thing that said between them all, it said about the unusual process of 3 writers for 1 episode. Doug Petrie has explained, I think in terms of lineup, I probably would have written that one myself, except I was getting married that week, and as much as I love Buffy, I was glad I took the couple of days off. It was tough and it was funny because Jane, Marty, and Joss were all there for my wedding. Jane at one point was on the dance floor and said, okay, I've got to go back. We were writing it over a weekend. Doomed was very difficult. I was around for the breaking of the story, and I'm happy about that. It was difficult and it was hard. I think that we were really up against the wall. We didn't know what we were going to do, and we didn't have much time. They didn't have times. Things either go really, really well when that happens, you are blessed with some kind of inspiration, things click and they move fast because you don't have time, wonderful things happen, or you really work hard and do your best and hope. I think that was the case with Doom. They felt doomed. That's why they titled it. And then he just finished saying, it was a lot of hard work. Buffy and Riley are the king and queen of their respective worlds and have their own methods of dealing with the enemy. So I was like, is that what y'all are having trouble writing? Like, I don't really get it. It seemed like this episode came together quite well. But I guess that's why we're roaming around town and shit and getting bitchy with each other and stuff most of the episode. They're like, you know what? Let's just throw in another apocalypse on top of that. Why not?
As if we need any more threats.
I guess Doug Petrie was feeling all the love from Buffy and Spike a couple episodes ago getting married, and he was like, well, I'm going to finally get married myself. He said, I'll bring the Petri dish.
He said, I'll find something blue.
Yeah, literally. because that was the title of that episode. But this one is doomed, which is clearly a play on what's occurring overall. They are doomed to suffer more possibility that the world may end at any given time due to evil. Buffy's relationship feels doomed, if not all of them. The Scoobies feel doomed to continue to see themselves as the same losers that they were in high school. And of course, let's not forget Giles and the OG ending of episode 2, where he goes, "The Earth is doomed." I'm like, it still seems to be. At least all of you fuckers' lives. I did see online, I think it was Dose Reviews. He said, "How can you move on from the past if it keeps returning? Will you make the same mistakes time and time again, or will you learn from them? Are you ever truly free of your past? Doomed is an exploration of all these questions." And I was like, yep, exactly. So, that being said, in this episode, just as Buffy and Riley begin figuring out what their relationship looks like without secrets between them, an earthquake suggests that Sunnydale's Hellmouth may not be finished causing trouble. As demons gather the ingredients needed to reopen it and unleash an apocalypse, the Scoobies find themselves back where it all began, confronting old fears, old wounds, and the possibility that the future doesn't have to repeat the past. Remember what I said? It's the exploration of those questions for sure. So let's explore guest stars this episode. We have one that I'm just going to mention as somebody that we have as a reoccurring role, but their final one on the show, Ethan Erickson, is returning to reprise Percy West. Good old Perk, because that's what I'm going to call him. And Perky, he is not. He need to take that Percocet, so he's Perka nice.
Yeah, we weren't vibing with him.
No. And to speak of not vibing, a lot of the fandom don't care for this episode. Like, they hate it.
What?
Yes.
Hate? That's a strong word. I wouldn't go there. There's definitely been worse episodes already.
We wouldn't know, because we come in here talking about, this episode was great. We liked it, blah, blah, blah. we might mention something we didn't like about it, but there hasn't ever been one that you've come in and been like, nah, mate, this one wasn't it. Like,
I don't know that I ever will, unless it's like dreadfully boring. And I'm just like, what the fuck's the point of this?
I feel like it always wraps you in some way, shape, or form. I don't think that's why it's hard for me to say like there's an episode I hate, but they put it in that barrel of like the puppet show and Go Fish and things like that. Maybe not quite as harshly, but I think it's because, and I almost hate saying this, and don't think too much into it and don't let it change or sway your opinions. I don't think you would as a person knowing you. You don't let people do that. But people don't like Riley. So I think it was just like a stint on that too. Like, so many people hate Riley. Just like I said, whether that be because he's not Angel, or like this is Buffy's first relationship, or like, say Buffy is in a relationship again in the future or something one day, they like comparatively don't like her, who she's been with, or like this development I don't know.
Obviously, I don't know if things change like along the way, and if he turns into a person that we collectively end up hating for a given reason or another, like if something happens, or if he ends up just being a straight up douche, or if he ends up being a demon, or whatever. Like, anything could happen in this world. So it's like, I don't know where things go, so I don't know if the opinion is like based on that or on things I don't yet know. But at this point, like from where I'm at, I like Riley, and I think that he's sweet. And I don't know, like, I'm just like, I don't hate him, that's for sure. But I also wasn't crazy about Buffy and Angel, and I'm still not. So I think that might be why. And it's not like that, like, I love them and I love their story, but after a while you just get to a place, at least for me, where I'm like, it's not even old. I mean, yes, that is a simple way to put it, but it's almost kind of like, okay, at this point, if you're going to be tortured with or without each other, then just fucking be together. Like, make it easier on yourself. I don't know. So it's like, it's beating a dead horse after a while, and you're just like, I'm kind of ready for them to be with new people.
I mean, I kind of same.
Even if it means they get back together later, I don't know, but like, I it's refreshing, and for me anyway, to see her with someone else who's not just like an ordinary douchebag like Parker, or at least not straight away. Like I said, I don't know if Riley ends up being a piece of shit or not, but right now I think he's sweet. I even put it in my notes, and I was like, I think Riley's really sweet, and I think that he comes off, whether it's a like way to manipulate the audience or whether it's sincere, like right now from what I'm seeing, I like him, and I don't hate him, and I definitely don't hate this episode.
To say, like, or to call out back to like what you said about not knowing where he goes in the future, regardless of where he goes in the future, and obviously I'm not going to let anything in on that. That doesn't sway. It's just like, people friendships that I've had in the past, you know, like I still tend to speak highly of them. Like maybe not if they completely drug me through the dirt or something like that, but you know what I mean? I truly wish all these people the best because at some point in my life, they were a good part of my existence, and they had like good qualities. I have good memories with them or things like that. Like those tend to outweigh way more the opposite side of those types of things. So when it comes to Riley, like I just always speak for like season 4 just as itself because it's his season where he's introduced and where everything's so new between him and Buffy in general. So like I'm always like season 4 Riley is 100% somebody I'm on board with no matter what. And he is such a standout guy in general, like from what we're seeing so far on the show. So it's hard to think that he becomes something bad, has ill intentions, or is a bad person because he's the only one that's like showing good character as far as like men. And like he doesn't seem to be part of misogyny or things in the same way. Obviously, he works for the government and things like that. And I'm not going to elaborate too much into stuff too, because he might have his qualities. People are probably shouting, be like, no, yes, he does have misogynistic qualities. Look where he works, blah, blah, blah. It ain't about that. I'm just saying he shuts down his friends about talking bad about women. He's treating this girl like this whole episode. One of my favorite parts, aspect-wise, was enjoying watching Buffy and Riley have a hard time reinitiating their relationship after learning these truths. And Buffy doesn't want it, and Riley wants it. He's going so hard for her all episode, like trying to talk her into this, and because he's excited about her.
On that, when we get to the moment of him like having the conversation with her in the street about like what's the hang up, what's the hold up, you know, and they're kind of having that one final more confusing part of their conversation when it comes to their figuring out what to do. There is a slight thing I saw in his character that I didn't like, you know, and it wasn't like so much that I was like, you know, like I wasn't like, oh, now I don't like him. But I feel like if I saw enough of that repetitively, I would probably, my mind.
Are you going to talk about it then?
Yeah, I think I should talk about it.
I probably do after every time that they have an instance, whether that be in the cemetery or that moment. Like I have notes after that to speak on it and stuff. So maybe you'll like grant me some perspective of what I talk about within that range too. But don't forget, that's interesting to know.
It's in my notes.
You're like, no, we have to talk about this.
I'm like, I gotta mention that.
Yeah, but like everything else in the episode is really cool. I like the fact that we returned to high school and we got like the Hellmouth being active again and whatnot as well. Obviously, the last time we saw the Hellmouth and really an apocalypse we were dealing with was back in the 𝑫𝑶𝑴𝑬𝑏. That was going on behind the scenes as we were rolling around with Xander. The apocalypse was happening. You know, everyone else was involved in it, and I found myself wondering too. Obviously, I'm going to get your like initial thoughts on the episode versus what we're talking about now, but I was like, did the Sisterhood of 𝐤𝐸 like collect any items to like reopen the Hellmouth, or did they just know it was going to open because it was some portent saying that it was going to open? You know, the Master, when he rose, he did something to like between the earthquake and everything else that had been happening. He knew that the Hellmouth was going to open. I don't know if it was just in a book somewhere and that was just the day that was going to happen, so he knew he wanted to be there for it type thing. But I'm like, why did the demons need this versus they didn't have to have that element the last time? I was like, did the Sisterhood of 𝐤𝐸 do something we didn't know about? Because as far as I could see, they killed pretty much almost all of them except for the last couple that were running around and shit like that, and I really don't remember, it's been so long ago. But they were taking them out. They killed a bunch of them in the beginning of that episode. So I was just like, what is going on here? Like, why didn't they sacrifice themselves and jump into a hole to raise the Hellmouth, or is it not supposed to open for a really long time again? Like, you know what I mean? Plot element wise, I'm just like, I was like thinking about it. I'm like, because, you know, obviously they're not excited about the fact that they're dealing with another apocalypse, which I think makes 4 technically now. Maybe 4, definitely 3, probably 4. Because we had the initial one at the harvest, and then we had technically it would have been the end of world. It wasn't the same as an apocalypse. We had what the Master was doing, so technically maybe 5 already. And then when Angelus was trying to destroy the world, that was technically an apocalypse, even though it was averted. It was something that somebody else set in motion, but that would have been an apocalypse because it was going to suck the world into hell. And then we had the apocalypse in the 𝑫𝑶𝑴𝑬. So technically this makes like 5 apocalypses on the show. If anything, a firm 4, if we exclude one of the like minor ones like the Master or the Angelus version of it. I don't really know, but yeah, what did you think of the episode? Besides what you've already said.
Well, I don't hate it. I liked it. I think it wasn't bad. I would not classify it as bad. I feel like I can understand maybe a little bit of the lack of like for it, but we haven't finished the season yet, so it's kind of like I'm also coming from the perspective of it could get worse. There could be a worse
I would not put
episode. I
this
have
in
no
my top
idea.
10.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like it's clear that it's one of those that probably doesn't fall in the top of anyone's like listings for this season, but overall it kept me pretty entertained. And I do feel the theme of an apocalypse is getting a little bit redundant. I'm noticing I don't like too much redundancy and stuff.
Girl, you watching the wrong show, because that's the options that could happen all the time.
I mean, at least typically when we're revisiting a theme, there's like a few elements of change, but of course with like an apocalypse, there's not. An apocalypse is an apocalypse. Like the only thing we can change is how we get there, and that's it. But I liked Xander's part in this episode, and I like the
What about
the
Xander
parts he
specifically?
played. I just like that I don't know if anyone else comments on this, but I think he's the one who figures out that the demons are the sacrifice. And I was like, look at Xander, like in the heat of the moment too, thinking about like just being resourceful and paying and knowing he needs to like be observant, pay attention, and figure out what the fuck is exactly going on. So I like that element of him being kind of a little bit more aware of all of the surroundings and circumstances and how they all tie in together, and just saying it, and blurting it out so people are aware. Because I feel like if it wasn't for that, then how would it have been completely stopped? You just think these dudes are going in the hole.
Spike would have been picking them all, the rest of them up, and throwing them in the damn hole.
And Spike's another character I really enjoyed watching in this episode. I think that like I'm really enjoying the fact that he's brought this lightheartedness, because everything surrounding his character's funnier in these past few episodes. So, and I'm enjoying the banter with him and Xander, and just kind of like his melodramatic tendency to to respond in certain ways like this. He was really funny this episode. I caught myself laughing at him a lot, just being extra as fuck. But yeah, overall it was entertaining enough, and I like where we went with Buffy and Riley finally, and even though it didn't feel like we were going to get anywhere with that for a second. So I'm glad things moved along anyways. And
I feel like this episode just makes you like come back to square one of where we've been like heading to, because all of us have been knowing like this was going to occur at some point, and coming off of the episode of Hush and going right into this lets us know how that unfolds, but it also kind of like steals up and wraps that energy up, but then kind of like helps propel us forward and to like what we can expect for the back half of the season, I guess I should say, because now we're kind of smack in the middle, because I mean there's 22 episodes, so there's 11 more to go this season, so we're right there at the halfway mark. I'm about to say we'd be almost done with this season by now if we weren't also covering Angels. But now we're at the middle mark between that, because can you believe that after we record Angel episode 11, we'll have done 22 episodes, what would normally be the 5-month range of a whole season of a regular show. So we just have the back half of the seasons to go, which both of them get so much better. I'm so excited for both. And yeah, I've been waiting to get to this episode for a really long time. Like I breadcrumbed you all the way back in like season 1. We were talking about Buffy. And I don't know if you caught it yet. I'm obviously going to say something about it in our opening scene. But there was something that I like mentioned way back then that honestly I feel like I should just start the episode now, so that way we can get to that fact, because I don't really have anything else to say like about how I feel about the episode. I feel like overall it's really more about what you think. I'll say it as I go along, as we all know. So here we go. The episode opens immediately after the events of Hush, with Buffy and Riley finally forced to address the fact that neither of them are who they pretended to be. Well, more so Riley, because Buffy wasn't pretending shit. She just wasn't saying. Neither of them was just saying, but you know. Sitting awkwardly in Buffy's dorm room, they stumble but begin their conversation. Riley starts by bluntly questioning what Buffy is, and finally we get the zodiac drop I mentioned back 4 seasons ago. He's like, what are you?
Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius, you?
Way back then, I was like, what zodiac sign do you think Buffy is, like in season 1 or some shit? Before we got the birth date, and I told you later it was a Capricorn. I like told her, it reminded me of Nadia and all this other stuff, yada yada. But I was like, there's a specific moment that they drop it, and this is like where Buffy says it. She goes Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius. Her birthday's January 19th. And then I love how she doubles back and looks at him, and she's like, you? Like, oh shit. Like, it's so sassy because clearly that's not what he meant, and he like calls back on that. He goes on to clarify his amazement by Buffy's strength and abilities, while Buffy asks who he is, but doesn't really even need to know because, he hesitates, which allows her to quickly deduce exactly what Riley and his friends have been doing beneath the campus.
You know who I am. The rest of what I do, I can't tell you.
Well, then let me. You're part of some military monster squad that captures demons, vampires, probably have some official sound euphemisms for them, like unfriendlies or non-sapiens.
Hostile subterrestrials.
So you deliver these HSTs to a bunch of lab coats who perform experiments on them, which, among other things, turn some into harmless little bunnies. How am I doing so far?
A little too well.
Meanwhile, by day, you pretend to be Riley Finn, corn-fed Iowa boy. Ever been to Iowa, Riley? God, if that's even your name.
It is.
I love that so much because Riley's stunned. I like it. He's like a little too good. Like when she asks how I'm doing, like he's like, whoa, hold up. How do I know nothing about you, but you know everything about me? And I'm just like, because she's the Slayer, like she just said, a little boy. Well, she didn't say it yet, actually, but because she is she's who we know her to be. Before she has to say it, like she's one step up. She's already noticing this. She's immersed in this world that you're just obviously clearly such a new part of. Like what y'all do are also so separate from one another as well. She's out here defeating the force of the evil. Y'all trying to like whatever it is, experiment and fuck around and play with them, which we all know never goes well. We ain't trying to play science fiction with the fucking monsters. This ain't Scooby Doo. I know we got the Scooby Gang, but we ain't got no Scooby Doo. Ruh-roh. Yeah, this is going to be crazy because this pen is wild. Things start to get a little tense, and Buffy finally reveals that she's the Slayer. Riley has no idea what she's talking about. And, we all know. Chosen one. She who hangs out a lot in cemeteries. Again, we all know the one. If not, ask around. Look it up. Slayer, Kamatha.
So funny.
I love the dialogue. It's so great. Riley speaks to how her power is amazing again. Clearly, he's like wrapped up in his head about this. Like he saw things that were to him, like that really excited him about who she was because he's like, oh my God, you're like on the same wavelength as me. It didn't have to be some boring girl. She also probably should feel better about like him because she's like, well, now you're not as normal Joe as I thought. But also that's something questionable. He, again, like I said, is amazed, and especially with the fact that she's not brandishing any marks from the fight compared to him who's suffering from and wearing the marks to show it. He's like, you see me without my clothes off. And I was like, more about that, please, Riley. You got more to say? Mr. 6'4"? I'll look at your arms with nothing on. Okay. They question, where do they go from here? Buffy suggests a processing period, but before either of them can start, Amy the rat begins to squeal in her cage and an earthquake suddenly rattles the room. While Riley treats it like an exciting experience being his first and all, Buffy is visibly shaken, voicing it's definitely not hers. Fade back and get the Buffy theme. Okay. These people are like, they do weird shit over here.
We're weird.
I wanted to add more to that. Two things, kind of really not. I didn't add anything to because I haven't even spoken on it, but just him like taking notice to the fact that she doesn't have marks on her, and she's like, you're not looking hard enough. Like, we know you got that scar on your neck. Yeah, her wounds are psychological and emotional at this point, which is clearly what also is like a foreshadow for how she's feeling whenever everything comes to part of like the rest of the episode. But him just taking notice that she doesn't have marks on her, I'm like, yeah, that is true. He's over here talking about, I'm bruised the fuck up. You see me without my clothes on. I've got marks all over me. And I'm like, damn. I was like, you probably also like the fact that he's still excited. Most guys would see that as a turnoff, that this girl can take more than what he can. So that's why I was like, I can't call him a misogynist or call him like your classic average male that's just like a douchebag. He clearly doesn't have the Parker Abrams vibes and stuff. So I just wanted to elaborate more on that. But I really like, I've always really liked whenever this cold open ends, just because the earthquake occurs. And, after you've seen the episode for sure, and how everything that unfolds, and we know it's confirmed an apocalypse and all of that, we get why Buffy feels this way, because the last time that an earthquake occurred, she did die. And even though that's not a portent, she hasn't been overhearing people talking about how she's going to die again and all this other stuff. She just remembers what happens the last time, and is Slayer-wise, she gets a sense. Even if it's not a sense, she didn't get one, but she just has that gut feeling that like this isn't just a California occurrence like Giles is about to say it is. You know what I mean? Especially coming off of the bullshit that they've been dealing with the last couple weeks, like, which was kind of self-inflicted. Well, not the gentleman, but Willow. I don't know, it was the last couple, but wild. At Xander's, we open back up, and he is dealing with the consequences of the earthquake as he tries to clean up the flooding in his basement. Spike, meanwhile, remains completely useless, and apparently he's still living with Xander at this point instead of going back to Giles. We get 2 episodes of him at Giles, 2 episodes of him at Xander's. Next, he'll be at Buffy's for 2 days in the dorm.
I was going to say, he's going to couch surf.
When Xander orders him to help fix a leaking pipe while he runs off to his job, Spike describes as delivering melted cheese on bread, aka doing his part to keep America constipated. The two pop off at the mouth some, and Xander turns his back. Spike picks up the wrench and attempts to smash him with it. And the chip fires off, and he rears back in pain. I absolutely love that little bit. One, I gotta say the fact that this is what the 5th job now, like, that Xander's had. Now he's pizza delivery guy. He's not out here digging at sites. He's not fucking working at the hot dog or corn dog, whatever the hell place that was that Willow liked. Like, he's not a bartender anymore. I'm like, Xander, like, I wish I could remember right now. There's another show that I've watched where somebody just had a different job every single episode, and I'm just like, this is so Xander this season. It would make more sense if I could remember what this show was. Maybe everybody else is screaming it at me right now. I don't know. Can't hear anybody but us, but
I know, I'm like, was it Stranger Things?
No, that's just something recent on our minds. But I love the bit of Xander is annoying Spike. So when he turns his back, Spike tries to hit him with the wrench, and he's forgetting that he can't hurt people. And he's just like, no. I'm like, it's so funny. Because it's payback too. I mean, like, you shouldn't want to hurt people, and you shouldn't resort to violence at the end of the day unless it's really warranted for it. So it's just like, I don't know, after seeing somebody that or knowing that someone has caused so much pain over the 100-and-something years that they've unlived, whatever you want to call it, they're such an evildoer. Now they can't even hit somebody across the back of the head anymore. Like, he would have killed Xander had that be the case.
I know, but that's why he's acting like that by the end of the episode, where he's like ready to go.
Xander barely notices this and leaves for work, informing Spike that if he's going to keep living there, he's going to have to start pulling his weight around the house again. So I guess Spike is just staying. I don't know where this agreement came from or what is going on. Giles, I guess, told him, he's like, you can keep him. I'm like, I ain't dealing with that no more. And I like the fact that in the dialogue he's saying, remember who pays for your blood nowadays. So Xander's out here going to work at his little pizza job and deliver stuff, and he's taking home his tips.
He's taking care of Spike.
Like, what the fuck? So Spike should be trying to earn his keep, but he's an evildoer. He feels like he's entitled to this, essentially, just because he's like, y'all lucky I can't kill y'all.
That, and I feel like it's his only way of being relevant. That part, but he's also, it's his only way of kind of being evil, you know what I mean, in his own way, because he's like, well, I can't
with all of them
physically hurt you, so I might as well hurt you resourcefully.
It is really funny, the corner that he's kind of been written into right now, though, because of the fact that this chip situation, and he's been so opposed, like, as a adversary, adversary to the gang, but now he's like all up under their shit. So he's like, I still don't like, and he says it pretty much every episode, like, I don't like you. So this is the one thing that he can do to still get at them, since that he has nothing else to do in town. He can't go hang out with Harmony, you know.
He might kick his out.
Exactly. And I mean, he's kind of like, he's being a bitch while he's staying around, but if you think about it too, the fact that he is getting somewhere, a shelter to stay away from the sun, the fact that, he could be out on his own. I know he was kidnapped by them. I'm gonna call it kidnapped because they have him chained up and tied up for several episodes, but he can't go out and get his own blood either. So now he's given blood to them because they, I guess, quote unquote, feel sorry for him, and they don't want him to just go to waste. But I'm like, why did they care? He literally tried to kill them all. He tried to kill Willow last season and Xander, and he's tried to kill Buffy a handful of times. Like, why do these people care? But it's interesting
because they're good
people. And they are, and they kind of have this sense, just like the way they treat Anya. Anya did something awful to technically them through Cordelia, and now she's not a demon anymore. So they're like, oh, well, there's like a gray line now. You're a little closer to white than you are black. You know what I mean? So like, can you be redeemable in this type of sense? So I think it's really interesting aspect wise to see where Spike's being set up with, which I'll have some questions about later. Moving along though. Over at the campus, Willow returns to the dorm and tells Buffy about an aftershock party that is taking place in one of the resident halls. Willow suggests she should invite Riley to the blackout party, but Buffy avoids the topic, telling Willow to head to the party, and she can stop by after because she's going over to Giles for a little one-on-one. Willow questioning if something's wrong, but Buffy assures her no, nothing at all. Like, okay. You could just tell her that you think there's a bad omen coming over your head. Like, what? Are you just trying to make Willow go to this party? Like, why don't you tell her to come along? Y'all are the Scooby Gang. Y'all all do this together. Like, head on. Bye. We get a little cutscene transition magic, though, because I like whenever she's like, oh, no, nothing's wrong. She's over at Giles pacing, and she's like, something horrible's about to happen, Giles. Like, love these moments. He initially dismisses the earthquake as a normal Southern California occurrence and tries redirecting the conversation toward his investigation of the mysterious commandos, but Buffy makes it clear the last time this occurred, she literally died. He continues on with the military talk, having closed in location-wise based on Spike's description and the sightings that they've gathered of the commandos. And Giles believes the initiative's base may actually be located beneath UC Sunnydale itself. Buffy wants to focus on her feeling of impending doom, also avoid speaking about Riley and the info she's gained firsthand.
The world is coming in the form of a plague. Then too many people may be infected by the time we actually decide.
Will you stop worrying about what may be and concentrate on what is?
Essentially, he's like, let's concentrate on what is and what may not be. Commenting there is a much more important question at large. Cutscene round 2 in the initiative. Curious about Buffy's claim, Riley asks Forrest about the Slayer. Forrest brushes the whole thing off as monster folklore, nothing more than supernatural campfire stories demons tell one another. Before Riley can push the subject further, a captured demon suddenly breaks free and attacks. Riley acts quick and subdues it, since the lab coat dude is useless with that valid sedative that he's dropping all over the fucking floor too. He's like clanking that thing everywhere, and then dropped it 4 different times. I'm like, bruh. I know these guys are special operations. They're supposed to be the muscle behind things, but you think you'd be a little bit quicker with that. If Maggie had seen that shit, she would have fired his ass on the spot. You better be glad she was out there teaching a class that day or whatever the fuck she was doing. Riley notices that all the creatures in the facility have been unusually agitated since the earthquake, which Forrest claims makes everybody crazy as we hear them restless within their holding cells. I do like the dialogue between Riley coming to Forrest without saying that Buffy's the Slayer, to be like, what is the Slayer? And Forrest, like, other than him being like, it's a thrash metal band. And I'm like, no, not that one. Riley says it too.
Oh,
he's like,
so
no, like
funny,
a girl like that can fight demons and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, the Slayer. And he's like, yes, I've heard about that. And I'm like, have you though, Forrest? What book do you read that in? Because Riley ain't heard shit about it, clearly.
It doesn't seem like.
I know, but he does. He did say, I mean, he put. I
mean, kind of, but he clearly doesn't like believe in it, which
at
is
all,
like,
right? Yeah, he said it's like the local boogeyman or whatever.
I know, he was asking like this homie was, I don't know, talking about Bloody Mary or something, and I'm just like. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, like it's literally some actual myth, but he thinks it's a myth because he hasn't ever like obviously come up against it. Because I mean, he's a teenage boy. Like Buffy, there's only been like 1 or 2 Slayers since before Buffy's time and stuff, and he clearly wouldn't have known him because he was in an adolescence mindset and he didn't know about demons himself until recently. So I'm curious where he got the information from, but I really do like the fact that Riley's down here like pondering the idea of it. But I'm just really surprised that like Forrest didn't look at him and be like, "Why are you asking?" You know what I mean? Like that never really went anywhere. Yeah. I would have, that's always my first question back. If somebody asked me something and I'm like, oh, I don't really know the answer to that. Or I have information to give them, like, why, what do you need to know that for? Like, did you just want to know? Especially something that like out there, you know what I mean? Like, why are you asking about a mythical like demon hunter? I mean, it makes sense because of what they do. Maybe
no, it would literally be like if somebody was like, hey, have you heard about Slender Man? And then you're like, yeah, it's this, and then they just walk away, and then you're like, but why
did you see him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what's going on? Did you see someone that looked like Slender Man? Did you have
I need to know, because I'm not going in the woods, and y'all be out in the woods looking for werewolves all the time. I ain't gonna be out there with y'all ain't it.
I need to know so I can go nowhere.
Did you see a skinwalker? Because I ain't trying to be out in the Appalachia.
No, but for real, that is kind of like the equivalent. It'd be like if somebody randomly, like serious as fuck, came up to you and was like, hey man, do you believe in aliens? And you're like, yeah, I guess. Oh, have you ever seen a UFO? No, I don't think I have. Okay. And then they just walk away and you're like, did you? Hold on, wait, come back.
It's so extra. But yeah. That evening, Willow attends the aftershock party alone. I feel this is one of Anna's parties too, because you look around the room and all these damn people have got glow stick necklaces and bracelets and shit like that all over the place. And literally any party that we've ever had at our house, Anna always is the first one to bust out them things. So she order like a 500 variety pack from Amazon and shit like that. Like, so 2000s. I mean, obviously it comes from an earlier era too.
No, but I love
like
that,
when we used to go to the
actually.
skating rink, they used to have them and stuff. I used to always get the big thick tube one that you were like hang around your neck. I used to always want to bust them open and put them on my skin too, so that way you glue in the black lights. But those are poison, and they can seep into your skin and not do great things to you. So if you do that, don't.
Oh my
Did you not know
God.
that?
I
I
didn't
mean,
know
I'm
that,
just
but I've never really
assuming,
been
but obviously
tempted
it's a
to,
chemical
like,
that makes it glow and react that way. So you're not. Your first reaction should be like,
yeah.
let me bust this and rub it on my body. But I mean, look at me. We're both the people with tattoos all over their body, and I was always the person with ink pens
I was
drawing all
gonna
over
say
myself.
the first time gel pens came out, I was definitely using them as like eyeshadow and tips. No, for real. I would like draw like a circle on a piece of paper and like make a bunch of the ink come out, and then I would rub my finger on the ink and I would put it on my eye.
Dude, that's why the hell you wear glasses now, fucking Courtney. What the hell?
No, that's genetic. My mom's blind too.
That's why she did it, because she was over here rubbing damn.
She wasn't putting no damn gel pens on her eyes. She grew up with gel pens.
That doesn't matter. She was doing it with chalk. I don't fucking know.
No, you know what it probably was for her is that damn blue eyeliner they wore in the 80s, because she was steady wearing that. She carried that shit all the way to 2003. I was like, Manuela, it's time to retire the blue eyeliner and go with a normal person color like black or
I always
brown.
feel so strange whenever somebody has something other than like brown or black on their side, or like a white. Like white's kind of like exceptional too. Obviously, like I've said in the past, like
white's
cosmetology,
fine.
makeup
You highlight
artists,
your
but
shit.
like most people are doing something to darken and highlight the features of their like eyeline color or like their lashes and things. And Anna, speaking to her again, and it looks cool. But you know, her favorite color is purple. Her hair has got the whole purple vibe going on, obviously, you know, courtesy me. But no, she'd be putting purple mascara on. She'd be putting purple eyeliner and eyeshadow and stuff on too, but she goes the purple line. Like I'm gonna have to show you a picture. The other day we were outside.
Please send me a picture of the mascara she uses.
No, I'm gonna send you a picture of her eyeball.
And next time
I'm gonna say, Anna, can you come here real quick?
Next time I see you, I'm gonna have some purple eyelashes.
I'm gonna flip the fuck out if you got some purple eyelashes. They look cool though.
Actually, mine are gonna be red. Mine are gonna be red to go with my red.
Listen, hair. I think they. Me all coming in here talking about, did you color your hair? No. It's the sun. Who knows? Okay, anyways.
Because I'm the devil's child.
Got it. Well, that's the only time I ever see people wear colored mascara like that. It's usually at Halloween or something like that. Like
Anna just out here wearing it to work. She's a therapist. People probably see her eyelashes. They're like,
hey, she's like a cool chick though. Her office is not like your regular office. Is just to say, like everybody else in her office has like similar vibes too.
I can see that.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're at the party. The whole experience leaves Willow feeling painfully out of place. She notices Percy is there because, you know, she's alone. She's like, oh, I'll go talk to him. And we all remember Percy as the former Sunnydale High basketball star that she used to tutor, and moves over to say hello. Were you surprised to see him? Did you remember who he was? I know you didn't remember Wesley.
Yeah, I remember who he was. But then it was funny because I was like... Somebody, I think Buffy asked it like later in the episode, or you know, in a couple of minutes. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, I didn't know he went there."
Like at the school, or like at the UC Sunnydale.
And then I think somebody else was like, "I didn't know he goes here. Does he even go here?" Or something like that. And I was like, "That's what I said."
Even though, like, literally right now, Willow walks over to him and is like, I thought you went to college elsewhere. And he's like, no, I'm here visiting Lori. So he did go off to the university he wanted to.
Before that.
And we find out that she's some chick that's there with him. Obviously, she's right there. And to me, she looked like Temu Faith because she's wearing like a red halter top, like in all the promotional stills of Faith. And she's kind of got the same brunette, like haircut look of Faith. So that was funny. She looked like Temu Faith. I mean, she was pretty, but like I think Eliza Dushku's way hotter. But I say Temu Faith is because she looked like somebody cosplaying as Faith's character because the outfit that she's wearing looks like the promotional stills of Faith.
That's that
like
part.
Literally, hold on.
No, I totally agree. She looked familiar though, in a weird way. But she had like such a baby face that she almost looked like she was like 15.
These promotional photos and stuff like with Faith from like that wearing that specific red top.
No,
like,
you're right.
I remember my sister Tiffany, her graduation photo, she wore a red top like that and went out and did the same things, kneeling on the ground and stuff. She didn't have a stake in her hand, but she like did the same stuff because she wanted to like use that as inspiration. So you know what I mean? That's why I'm calling it Temu Faith.
Yeah.
Willow attempts to make small talk, but Tamu Faith is a bit bored, and she whispers to Percy that they need to get the fuck out of there. And then Percy's like, okay, well, no, hold on one second. That actually didn't happen yet. But who's a bit bored? I mean, the girl's bored. I guess I'm just getting myself confused because it's a whole thing going on. But Percy tries to save the moment by asking Willow how Oz is doing. And when she goes to reply, this is when that bitch gets up and whispers in Percy's ear. And he ends the visit for them to go get drinks because he's like, yeah, we'll catch you later. And I'm like, what does she whisper in your ear? I want to know because I don't like her. Lori can go fuck off. She might as well be Laurie Strode to me in my eyes. I'm about to send Michael Myers right on her way, or his way to her. Because she said something. She probably literally was like, I'm bored. Like, this girl's a loser. Let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Or said something that was like, let's go get drinks. I'm not vibing with this. I don't know what she said, but she said something cunty and I fucking know it.
She was probably like, if you keep flirting with her, I'm going to kill you.
But he's not even flirting with her, but that's clearly what her mind, like, we're going to talk about that in 2.2 seconds.
Clearly.
Because obviously they go walk off and the party continues. And when a few students enter a room together before the door can shut, we see a demonic hand halts the door from closing. Inside a student's room, we see that he's preparing mixed drinks and hollering out to his friends about naked limbo. He's like, you guys serious about that naked limbo? He's like, I'm there. I'm totally in. And I'm like, I ain't playing naked limbo with nobody. I ain't taking my clothes off in front of somebody. I ain't shy, but I ain't got no need to be having my...
Not in front of a whole
you ain't
house.
even catch me on a nude beach.
Where's this going on at? Good question.
Yeah, and where is it? Because it looked like the fucking where Willow and them were hanging out. It didn't look like just a regular thing. It looked like the little lounge area they're all hanging out in.
But either way, I'm like, where are you going? Where are you doing? Are you doing this in front of?
Yeah, out there
at
in the party. I guess they're gonna do a fucking conga line,
yeah,
a fucking
no
naked limbo. No, they're setting up a special room somewhere where they're gonna all take their clothes off and do naked limbo.
I mean, I might do it then.
Oh, okay. You like to Linda lay or whatever the fuck it is, and that's the song that usually plays when you're doing limbo. A certain specific song. I don't fucking. I ain't playing that damn game. People be acting way too extra with that. They be trying to get on the floor and use their fucking fingers and crawl underneath the damn thing. I'm just like,
no, I agree.
And it's the pole is literally 2 inches off the ground. I'm like, you can't even get underneath that.
Break your back if you want to.
Mr. Fantastic can do it because he can go flat and slip underneath that shit. If I was a transmographer, I could turn into a snake and get under there, and that's about it. Now I win. Haha, bitches. Anyways, he collects the drinks that he was making for everybody, which was so nice. He made like everybody drinks that I guess he was going to go. Everybody had to get a drink to get fucking naked. So he was like, I got y'all extra vodka. And he turns around holding them to find that demon that entered before standing there. And that fucking demon scared the fuck out of me as soon as he turns around, and it raises its hand back and slashes his throat with its nails, and the drinks spill to the floor along with much of the man's blood. I really like that clip where we see the shot of his feet like stumbling as he's like losing his balance, and the cups obviously spill all over the floor, but then his blood starts dribbling all over the like plastic cups too, and they're colored cups as well, so it's not just like red Solo cups. Like they all have a color to them, so the red stands out really hardcore against them. I feel like that was just like a horrific ass death that we haven't seen on the show too, because we usually don't see things like that. We've been seeing people get their necks broken, or like vampires get staked and beheaded and stuff like that, or people get killed by a vampire bitten in the neck.
Yeah,
but like this was like
brutal.
I mean, without showing the actual neck pouring blood, this was kind of softcore gore to me. Like,
yeah,
yeah. And then again, like the demon looked scary as fuck. He kind of was giving me Moloch vibes because Moloch was like green and scaly and had horns with like red eyes. So this demon was like the Tamu version of Moloch.
Yeah,
everyone's a Tamu version for me this episode. but he clearly had a lot more. Like at least Moloch just wanted you to love him. This demon don't want to love nobody except that Hellmouth.
I know, but that makes me wonder, like, what is beneficial for you guys in
dying
this?
And opening up for hell to spawn all over the fucking world, because some people just like Spike was saying at the end of Becoming, talking about Angel has the gall to do this because some people, unlike myself, who just love being on part of Earth, Happy Meals on legs, all that type of stuff, he's like, some people actually like have a taste for seeing the world just go to shit because they hate humanity so bad. So I guess these people are part of that damn group, and that's why whenever that motherfucker turned around, that motherfucker said yeah! And then sliced his neck. I think it roared. It was scary. I was like, oh shit. The first time I watched it, I totally jumped. I low-key jumped this time too because I forgot I was about to come, but I didn't really forget. I knew it was coming, but it still got me. I was just trying to make it sound better because I'm a little bitch. Later, Willow overhears Percy dismissing her to Laurie, who's being a bitch about him talking to Willow, and like Percy goes on to be like, oh, she's nothing more than a high school nerd, and how he likes his women hot because he's old fashioned. I was like, yeah, aka old fascist. Like, no, because I ain't got time for that. Over here fucking he's the one. Riley ain't the misogynist. He is this episode. So fuck you, Percy. You're my weekly wigs, but you're not, but you are. Him and Lori. That ain't even who I put as my weekly wigs. But that's who they are. I'm changing it right now. So if I forget whenever we get there, I hope I remember.
Oh man, that's a good one though.
The two make out, and Willow feels bummed by what she's just overheard. So sad to hear, and looks for a quiet place to escape. She slips into a dark room and lays down on a bed. Inconveniently, the lights flicker back on as the power restores, and everyone calls out harmoniously. They're, "Aw, man," bummed that their dark party is now ruined.
I'm like, what the
Willow about to have a
hell?
dark party on her of her own because she grows on edge, starts to feel something that's like in the bed with her, looking over next to her, revealing the dead student lying there with his throat slit and a strange symbol carved into his chest. Scary. There's a lot of things that do this trope wise where you're laying in the bed with a dead body type thing, but for some reason I always immediately, whenever like I think that something's in the bed with me or in an episode and they're only showing half the person in the bed, and you know it's a scary movie or show or something like that, you know they're about to roll over and the villain is going to be in the bed with them or a dead body or whatever the case may be.
It's so different than like the whole like shutting the medicine cabinet and the mirror and like someone's right there behind you.
I always immediately think, I don't know if you ever watched Ernest Scared Stupid whenever you were little, those Ernest movies with Jim Varney that used to be a thing. Maybe people listening do. It's a scary movie. It takes place at Halloween time, and there's a troll that's underneath this one girl's bed, and it's not like comical trolls. It's like a fucking scary ass, like, I'm here to absorb you, make you this little doll so I can raise all my other little troll demon things. And she thinks it's under the bed and hears it. Well, she doesn't even know the troll exists, I don't think, at that point. But then like she looks under the bed and you have that calm relief, and she even has the calm relief where she's like, oh, it's just my teddy bear under the bed, and she grabs it and like gets back in the bed. But when it shows her get back up in the bed, like it's only showing half the bed, and then when she rolls over, this motherfucking troll's like gurgling her damn face, and she's like screaming, and I'm like, oh my god, he got you. So that's what I think about.
Oh my god, that's actually petrifying.
It's petrifying. I'm gonna make you watch the movie as a bonus episode one day.
Oh great, you love to give me PTSD.
You're gonna be like, this movie's fucking stupid, but it really is. I did want to note that the music that plays when Willow first enters the room, when she's all sad and bummed after what she's just overheard, it's the same music from Wild at Heart whenever Oz was leaving and like they were having their sad moments within it. And I was like thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if she's sad about what she's heard just because of the fact that it stirred up emotions and the fact that she is lonely, and she was also lonely in high school. I mean, she had like Xander and stuff as friends, then eventually she had Oz that made her feel better about herself. So it was just a reminder. She's kind of like, I mean, she's got her friends, but like the place that she's at in life now is just such a reminder of like the geek she was back then and what people's personification of who she was as a person was. She's like, damn, I haven't outgrown this yet, especially in this new environment. And it's never fun for someone to come back from your past and remind you of someone that you used to be. So again, fuck Percy for that shit. Literally, actually in my notes, the next thing says fuck Percy for that. So, and I didn't even like, I don't know. But I felt bad for her, and I like ended up writing. I was saying I'm so happy that Xander makes a comment later about that asshole when Willow tells him about him and stuff, because Willow goes on for him a good, like, the next couple of scenes that we see between her and Buffy, and between she's still at Giles' house. They're talking about the apocalypse coming. She's still over here bitching about Percy and like how it offended her and all this other stuff.
It's so really sad. You can just tell it triggered
seriously. And which is interesting too, because if you kind of put her and Xander together, Xander's getting bullshit from Spike about how he's a loser delivering pizza, you know what I mean, things like that. So and Willow's getting it from like the old high school jock that's saying that she's a fucking piece of shit still. Like they're both nothing to your average people.
And all ironically when they have to go back to physical high school later,
which we talk about, and I love that. Xander returns home to find Spike having shrunk his clothes and wearing a pair of one of his outfits, his Hawaiian shirt and his shorts, and he demands Xander go get him some new clothes, and already frustrated Xander unloads on him. Before I go into Xander getting upset with him, like, just the fact that when you come into the scene and he's like, don't turn around, and Xander's like, oh god, what did you do? Did you fuck up the stuff? Because he comes back in and already like water's still everywhere. He's like, what did you do? It's worse than when I left. And then he hears that phrase and he's like, turn around, and like you get the moment where he kind of chuckles to himself. He's like, oh shit. He's like, what the fuck happened? He's like, he's just holding his shirt and he goes, I shrunk them. Like, shit, man. That's awful. Xander obviously is, like I was saying, frustrated by the fact that his home is a fucking wreck and Spike's standing here useless again, and he takes that moment to unload on him and deliver some harsh truths about how Spike's ungrateful for like the help the gang gives him, like everything they've been providing to him, and also talking about how he's not even scary anymore, talking about he's not dangerous, he's not even worth fighting.
You're not a guest. You want me to tear this place apart, you bloody poof? That's it. I am way past through with you. Hate to break it to you, oh impotent one, but you're not the big bad anymore. You're not even the kind of naughty. You're nothing but a waste of space. My space. And as much as I always got a big laugh watching Buffy kick your shiny white bum, and as much as I know I can give you a little bum kicking myself right now, I'm here to tell you something. You're not even worth it.
Xander dips angry again. So fucking funny. Just like the whole scene. Like, did you like die to yourself whenever you saw Spike in this outfit? Because this is the outfit he wears the rest of the episode. Yeah. I feel it's super ironic because we've made comments in the past, and we definitely I think mentioned it. You might have in the harsh light of day, where like how Spike's always in the same gray pants, boots, and like red top and stuff, the black shirt. Like, and we had a conversation, be like, do they even wash their clothes and shit like that? Like, they got to be smelling rank all the damn time. But obviously they're vampires, so they don't have to smell the same way to each other. Do we suspect that this is the first time that he's ever tried to wash laundry then? Because back in his day, they didn't have no washer. They was out there rubbing shit on rocks and ponds and stuff and hanging them up to dry. They didn't have no damn dryer or nothing like that. So, I mean, I want to see the scene behind the scenes of Spike starting up the washing machine, probably glugging way too much fucking washing powder and stuff into it. Like
doing basically every single thing wrong.
I'm like, who shrinks clothes these days? I think they make clothes nowadays where they don't shrink because that became such an issue. God forbid he had to do a second load. You know he's putting whites and reds together.
For sure.
He's like, I'll turn them pink.
Or Rachel, I mean.
Yeah, all her clothes, yeah. It's so funny though. So Buffy arrives at the party turned crime scene, aka it's a Buffy party because it's giving cop cars, death, carnage, all the things. Willow informs her of what occurred and speaks about the dead guy she found and how Percy called her a nerd. I was about to say, when she informs her of what occurred, it all means Percy. Oh, and some dead guy Percy. But not Percy, but we wish. They guess that they should head to Giles to further discuss the event and get with the demon tracking, and they head that way. I love how Buffy, this is the moment where she goes, does Percy even go here? Like, she said that part about Percy calling her a nerd, and then they continue to talk about going to Giles and the demon and all this stuff, and then she walks out with that damn statement, and I was like, this is everybody's question. I think Xander even says something similar to that. He's like, what is Percy doing here? Like, he doesn't, but you know he did. Riley and Forrest sit in his room playing mini basketball, and Riley continues to discuss Buffy. Forrest kind of growing bothered by that being all Riley wants to talk about these days, but Graham walks in to tell them of the events that happened at the blackout party. Riley orders him to tell Walsh of the HSTs and that he will move in to do some recon and piece together the story. I think it's funny because I think he says HST right here instead of the hostel or like whatever he says, or maybe I called it HST. I can't remember because the episode's not in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he said HST. And I'm like, is that like because he's using Buffy's acronym for earlier? Because she's like, I'm sure you'll have an acronym for whatever they're called. And he goes, hostile subterrestrials. And she's like, so you deliver these HSTs? I'm like, oh, look at him already using this. But I want to call this out to you, like in the beginning part of this, when they're just sitting around playing around before Graham comes in. Whenever he's like, so Buffy, you see Forrest's face, and when he slumps the ball, like he's like, bro, like, why are we talking about this bitch again? I'm like, because she's about to be my new fucking girlfriend. Like, I've been dating her for like going on dates and picnics and shit with her the last 3 weeks, and you're the one that told me to go talk to her, and that y'all already knew I liked her, but yeah, you don't want to hear about her ass anymore, gay ass. Why do you want me? You want to suck this dick? Like, I'm just calling it out for the first time. You know what I mean? Because this is the first time I noticed it.
But it's hard to tell though at this point if it's like, is he coming from a place of like, because he doesn't have someone to focus on, like a female or a girlfriend or something, so he feels like he's losing his bro, or that's how it initially feels. But I can definitely I can pick up on some other potential.
Yeah, that's the normal version of it.
Some jealousy.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's really there like crazy in subtext or anything like that. There's this queer coding or anything. It's just what people be like. People just like sum it up and be like, nah, he's gay for Riley. Like, even though it is probably the
Yeah,
normal.
I mean, it's no different than us, or like everyone basically assuming Joyce is probably a puppet.
Yeah. Shout out to Graham getting hit in the face too with the ball whenever he went to walk in the room. He's like, you should do that more often. Like, get slapped in the face with balls. And I'm like, is that you talking, Forrest? Anyways, moving along. The Scoobies gather at Giles' apartment to compare notes, and Willow is expressing how Percy made her feel and how she hasn't felt that way since high school. Here's where Xander butts in to add, dumb jock, if it weren't for you, he still would be in high school. So accurate. And I was like, again, that's why I hate Percy's return, because he owes a lot to Willow and was so nice to her towards the end and even helped them in the final battle, like when the mayor ascended. Like, he was right there in the thick of the fight. And I was like, they take all of that back and put him back in this jock bullshit position that he had, like when we saw him in Doppelgangland. He's trying to get Willow to do his homework for him and like do all this. And thankfully, like, he learns his lesson that episode because Vampire Willow beats the fuck out of him. But like, it just shows that he gets a different mindset for Willow, whether it was out of fear or not. Like, the trajectory of him changes. So now they just kind of set him way back again. Not that it matters, because like I said, we never see him again. But I was just like, it's just another time you see men be men, and he will be doing all that extra shit for saving face so he can get some Lori puss. Like, that's how quickly like people will resort to changing on your ass real fucking quick, or just saying one thing and doing another. And I hate that kind of motherfucker more than I hate anything.
Me too. I do not like that energy at all. No
We'll kill
respect.
him. We'll shoot him. Pow pow. Willow shows everyone a sketch of the symbol that she apparently doodled down because, you know, she loves doing them doodles. And she just wrote it on like a napkin. Buffy feels that she has seen the symbol before but can't place it. And when Giles sees it, his expression changes. He starts like moving around the room and shit. He's already collecting this in his head. He's just not saying anything. And Buffy, eventually, when he does mention it, gets the confirmation that she's been waiting for. The earthquake was not just an earthquake, aka it's the end of the world.
Again?
It's, the earthquake. That symbol is,
I told you. I said end of the world, and you're like, poo-poo, Southern California, poo-poo.
I'm so very sorry. My contrition completely dwarfs the impending apocalypse.
They ponder on what they should do, but Buffy has already moved to grab the crossbow and answers that she will stop it. Obviously. Duh. Who's going to do it? The initiative? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Xander. He'll save the world.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be Slayer. No. It'll be nobody. It'll be the Slayer. I like the little clip too, because Buffy's like trying to figure out where she's seen this before, and then as we clip, it's kind of like a cutscene transition magic, but not really, because it cuts us over to the cemetery, and she's tracked the symbol to a mausoleum, realizing that this is where she's seen it before, because she spends countless hours here and involuntarily has memorized the mausoleums and like all their depictions and drawings and etchings that are on these damn things. Anyways, she hears a stir and moves inside to find the demon collecting bones from one of the tombs. Buffy attacks the demon and an aggressive fight ensues. I didn't go into it because obviously it's a whole fight sequence and stuff like that, but when she gets lifted up in this fight by the demon, and that's why I called it an aggressive fight, he like picks her up and slams her back into one of those like tombstones that's out there. And I'm like, damn, I was like, if she wasn't a vampire slayer, her fucking spinal column would be broken half right now. Like, thank God for her erectors in the back of her spine, because the muscles just took fucking all that hit for her. I know that had to hurt in a moment though. Even if I was a vampire slayer, I feel like I would have been like, ooh, like I would have fainted to make it, still fought the demon, but then walked off limping a little bit, hold my back.
It looks like she could have gotten paralyzed.
And she's just chilling whenever Riley's bitch ass walks up to it. I'm just like, damn, how you not out of breath and all this other? She's again like the marks that she like does not have from doing this. But if it had been Riley, he would have been like fucking taking 18 ibuprofen at one damn time and asking for a cortisone shot from the damn doctor's office the next day. The demon proves stronger than expected and eventually escapes into the woods. Buffy lies on the ground before flip kicking to her feet when she hears someone approaching, thinking that it's the demon, but it turns out to be Riley. There to find she who hangs out in cemeteries. I love that comment. I'm going to put it in my quotes now. I don't think I did earlier, but I always liked when it, like, just the way he brings that back. Like I said, the HSTs thing from earlier, and here she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, looking for you, she who hangs out a lot in cemeteries or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, aw, cute. What begins as a discussion about the demon quickly turns into another discussion about the relationship and how she can't be with him. Riley argues that they should at least give things a chance, and Buffy refuses. She explains that her life is filled with pain, death, and impossible responsibilities. Every serious relationship she's ever had has ended badly. To her, getting involved with Riley feels less like hope and more like history repeating itself. Riley refuses to accept that answer.
You don't know what my life is like.
And I'm dying to find out.
Dying being the operative word here. Okay, there's too much risk. There's too much. It's just doomed. And I can't do doomed again right now. Sorry.
I don't understand where this is coming from. I know you like me. And it's not like we don't have anything in common.
But that's not enough.
Buffy, I'm thrown by this. I'm confused. But I can feel my skin humming. My hands, my every inch of me. I've never been this excited about anybody before. I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not going to force myself on you, but I am, by God, not going to walk away because I think it might not work. I don't know what's happened in your past.
Pain. Death. Apocalypse. None of it fun. Do you know what a Hellmouth is? Do you have a fancy term for it? Because I went to high school on it for 3 years. We do not have that much in common. This is a job to you.
It's not just a job.
It's an adventure, great. But for me, it's destiny. It is something that I can't change, something that I can't escape. I'm stuck.
You don't have to be. You're not in high school anymore. You can change things.
Riley, no.
I know it may seem.
Riley. My answer is no.
She walks away convinced that whatever they might have had is doomed before it even begins, giving us the title of the episode and telling him her answer to them is no. I love that. I have some notes about like what he physically says and stuff like that, but just that ending sequence whenever he's still trying to talk in between that and she's just like, Riley, no. Like, I'm just like, he keeps coming back, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Riley's code name, first off, being Lilac, because whenever the like people call on the speaker, she's like, Lilac. He's like, anyways, past that.
So random.
I just love, again, how amazed he is by her, because like, he in the beginning obviously was talking about how she carries herself and fights well, and even awards her a little flippy thing right here too, because he's like, hey, that flippy thing you did was cool. And then he tops it off with that comment about how he doesn't want to just walk away and he's never been that excited about somebody before. Like, I just feel like everything he says in this statement is really, really sweet, and you can tell she doesn't want to be saying this based on her crying whenever she goes to walk away after telling him no. She feels the same, but I think that she's having a whole moment here because obviously her boyfriend interest turned out to be not so normal like she thought he was. And I guess maybe she was on the wavelength of thinking that was a good thing for her. But the apocalypse being here and her being hella on edge already about everything that's going on, I feel like it's just a reminder of her past and how things don't typically turn out good for her. And also, again, how her life isn't normal. So no matter the circumstance, in a way, I feel like she's kind of just mirroring Willow's energy about the past and who she was in high school, except unlike Willow, like parts of her that she said to Riley doesn't change. She can't escape this life, like she said a minute ago, you know? Obviously, I want to press more into that once they have their secondary conversation out in the thing and stuff like that. But I was kind of swooning over Riley in this moment just because I really like the clip. It just seems like he's such a stan. He's trying to convince her, but I think I'm just going to like wait until we get there. Back at ģao's research reveals that their monster is a vaj-Ral demon, reading its description from a book in a riddle-like ominous poem, and intercut over the initiative describing its physicality and actual demeanor. I like that, like, I guess I call it intercut because like the poem in the book, I say it's a poem, but it's like
slick like gall and girt in moonlight, father of portents and brother to blight.
Limbs with talons, eyes like knives, bane to the blameless, thief of lives.
3 meters tall, approximately 100 to 120 kilograms, based on my visual analysis. Special hazards? Unknown. Probably nothing we haven't handled before.
And then over there, they're talking about he's 6'5". He has a crazy thing, no obvious such and such. They're just talking about like what he's like as a demon, how much he possibly weighs. You know, very structured in that way. But it's two opposite worlds. Like there's one side you can see they're reading it out of a book like it's a mystical thing, and this other one's like this is a target. that we've got to go for. The gang realize the demon is gathering ingredients for an ancient ritual known as the sacrifice of 3. The blood of a man, the bones of a child, and an object called the word of Valios will be used to open the Hellmouth and unleash another apocalypse. The Scoobies split up to track down the missing piece while Riley simultaneously mobilizes the initiative to hunt the creature. Buffy orders everyone to do a task and stay safe, voicing she can't stand the thought of anyone getting hurt. Cutscene transition 3 to Spike as he attempts to solve his own problems permanently. We find he has positioned a stake with a clamp onto Xander's coffee table beneath himself and prepares to throw his body onto it. Before he does as such, just one clipping to the scene and seeing him standing, like you see the image of the stake fucking clamped onto the thing, and then it comes to him and he's got his arms fucking like all Hail Mary opened up, like just chest,
like he's on the edge of the Titanic.
Bearing. And this motherfucker goes, "Goodbye, Drew. See you in hell." I was like, if I go to hell, that bitch better not be there. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know she gonna be there.
But that's just so funny. You're just like, oh my god, like what? Like obviously you're laughing a lot. Like and I know we've got the 2 seconds after he attempts to do it and stuff, but just like clipping to the scene, like was that just your initial reaction? Was laughter?
Yes, and this is where I realized that Spike is way more dramatic than I've ever given him credit for. Because I'm just like, oh my god, the shrinking of the clothes sent him so far over the edge. Because right after like that happened, he even says to Xander, he was like, "I shrunk him. I hate it here."
I forgot he said that.
And then the next thing you know, he's out here trying to off himself. And I'm just like, first off, I can't take you seriously. You know why? Because it's broad daylight and you could just walk outside if you really wanted to solve your fucking problems. So I'm just like, what are you doing?
Before I go into talking about this on the not so jokey side of things, jokey wise, it is kind of fucked up that he wanted to commit suicide after having to be forced to wear Xander's clothes. This is just
and then I
down
like how
to
Xander's like, and that's my shirt you're about to dust.
Yeah. But the seriousness of it, like so many other people have spoken to it, like clearly he's like went into a depression and he's attempting suicide right here. And that obviously is kind of sad to see whenever anybody is going to do it. I mean, he's a vampire, like, or used to be, I guess. He's a half pirate now at this point because, you know, he can't do shit. But Dose Reviews mentioned, though, that they were glad at least he found an outlet for his aggression later in the episode and moving forward, technically, which obviously we'll talk about a little bit later. But damn, that sucks that he's at such a low point in his life. He feels like he shouldn't exist anymore. So he's about to attempt to off himself. But I thought it was interesting that he don't have the balls to just stick the stake in his fucking chest, just like somebody that can't pierce their own ear. They got to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I didn't consider that part, you know, like that's what I'm saying though. He's so dramatic about it. And I'm like, okay, so what was the turning point here? Was it the laundry? Was it Xander's clothes? Like, I need to know. We've seen you go through a lot worse shit, Spike. Like, what's going on?
You know, he high-key wanted attention though. And you know, he like set all that stuff up. And like, he didn't really, obviously, because of what he was saying and like the way he was in there. It just like, it was very unfortunate timing. But low-key, I like to think in my head that he was at the door listening for Willow and Xander to come back, or like Xander, and he ran over there to like make Xander feel bad, so he was gonna attempt, like, so he would walk in on this.
No, you're so
that's not
right.
what happened, clearly, but I think in my mind it's funny to think that route. Unfortunately, though, as we've been saying, Willow and Xander walk in before he can succeed and distracts him, and he just smashes the table to smithereens. Well, here go another coffee table on the show. Spike openly admits that life has become unbearable. He can't kill, can't feed, can't be feared, and can't even take his own life, can't take his own unlife properly. I like that moment too, because he goes, "Am I even remotely scary anymore?" and looks at Willow, and then he goes over and he's like like grunts at her and like with I don't know, it just reminded me of the little Gerarg thing that walks by at the very end of the episode. Willow consoles him and refuses to leave him alone, insisting he accompany them on their research trip to the museum instead. Xander perking him up with the possibility of an apocalypse, cheering Spike up considerably. He's like, "Really? You're not just saying that?" I'm like, oh my god, Spike. Over on Main Street, as Buffy continues searching for the demon, she runs into Riley again. This time, Riley pushes back harder against Buffy's pessimism, calling her stupid. Well, sort of. Not exactly, but actually, yeah, she's stupid. The way she looks at him whenever he says it, he's like, I've come to the conclusion that you're dumb. And she's like, what? And he's like, no, I didn't mean to say that. He's like, you know what? Actually, I do. And I'm like, oh, doubling down. I was like, I like that. But he's kind of being honest. Or just actually not even kind of, he is being honest. He argues that she's looking for reasons things will fail before they've even started, noting this time they're seemingly more of a match for one another than he initially expected. Buffy counters that Riley doesn't understand what her life actually costs, especially with him being an amateur fry cook. To him, though, hunting demons is an exciting mission. It's fun. And this bitch goes, oh, really? Fun? The last person I know that believed that is in a coma right now because she had so much fun on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Can't let us forget about Faith and her bullshit last season. That was like totally true. I like that shit, but I also like how she goes, like, people are walking by, she's like, I'm a fry cook and you're an amateur fry cook. Like, bitch, like, nobody ain't listening to y'all, and they all know walking by that you the damn vampire slayer and that there are vampires in this town, so don't even act like you do anything extra. Calm down, baby. Either way, seriously. To her, it's a destiny that she's never been able to escape, and Riley insists people survive by relying on each other. Buffy insists he doesn't understand. He calls her out on his suspicions that there's more to her stance than just the job part of this. How he's sure that some good-looking guy in there did her wrong. I was like, you're right, he is good looking, and you also right, because he did do her wrong. I don't know how I just became British all of a sudden. You said right, you hear that? And then he admits that she just wants to stay down in this dark mindset because of how it's possibly safer there for her. Accurate. The conversation ends with Riley frustrated that Buffy won't budge, even with his persistence, and Buffy's retreating even further into herself. Riley is going so hard for her, like, and then I asked the question to pose to you immediately, like, obviously maybe this can unfold to some of your stuff before I read the rest of what I wrote, but I was like, do you see this as a green flag?
No. I feel like a girl should only have to say no once.
Yes.
If she's second guessing or doubting her initial like stance on things, then she will come to you and say that. And I agree that he's really like trying to fight for this and make her see his point. But I do think in this case scenario, there were a few moments where he just came off like slightly too aggressive. And I'm not even talking about him calling her stupid, because there are everything he said. Yeah, and everything he said was valid. But it's kind of like, you got to remember that you're talking to a female, and aggression in any case, whether it's because you're passionate or because you're mad or you're hurt or you're upset or you're happy, even aggression in any case scenario can be so easily misinterpreted. And you guys don't know each other well enough to be going at low blows. You know what I mean? So it is kind of like you're showcasing a side of yourself that's almost being seen in an uncomfortably early stage of this.
Was there a specific line that he said that triggered this for you?
No, I think it's when it was right before he kind of let off of his aggression again toward the end, because I know at the end it's more neutral, like before they separate and he finally gets the point. But before that, when he's really trying to, like, he's like telling her like, no, you don't understand, and he's like trying to read her for filth. Like I said, there are elements of what he said that are true and accurate. I think when you're trying to be persuasive, you have to remember that like your approach means everything. Especially in this delicate of a situation, because we're not talking about a business deal. You're talking about a girl agreeing to be in a relationship with you. You don't know anything about her past.
Not yet at all.
So we got to remember that, you know what I mean? Especially not romantically. So it's like, you don't know she's come from an abusive situation. You don't know she's had a partner that's been aggressive with her before, and what you're doing right now is triggering, you know, like all these things is kind of like it's almost giving my feelings on this are more important and valid, so I'm gonna keep stressing them to you until you change your mind. And instead of being like, hey, let's keep the energy neutral, and I'm gonna hear you out and you're gonna hear me out, and maybe I'm overstepping a little even though you already told me no, and I'm desperate for you to hear my point, but then just say it that way, you know, just be like, I'm desperate for you to hear me, like, what can I do? Ask her, you know, like, what can I do to make you see how I'm feeling, or get that I'm not here to hurt you, or whatever your point is, you know, like there's so many millions of different ways than to be a little bit aggressive in the situation, whether that's like your passion for the situation coming through or not. I just feel like when we don't know each other, and one of the first like emotional reactions I'm seeing out of you as aggression toward me because I'm not telling you the things you want to hear. It's giving like I can see a future where you become slightly controlling, and I don't like that. And that's going to make me second guess a little
Mhm.
bit, you know? So I think I love Riley and I think he's sweet, but obviously, like anyone, he's a human being. So he
Yeah.
does come with a probability of having flaws and not treating a situation like he probably should. So
Yeah.
I give him his flowers for like being passionate and really making sure that like Buffy knows this isn't just like some easy thing for him to walk away from, but it is just a little, it was
Well,
like a little bit too
I'll
much.
say, like, and I'll spoil it in this way, just so that way, like, alleviates in that mindset wise that he never does anything to flip the script on her, to be controlling or anything like that. Like, not in the narrative way that I can really think to and stuff like that. Like, he doesn't become like what you're thinking in that way. Frame, you know
No,
what I mean?
and I think that's why I consider him like he's not really a red flag to me because
Yeah.
that's not overshadowing in his character. Like most of what I've seen, obviously, is a very sweet guy who wants the best and has good intentions, and definitely doesn't seem like he's after just like sex or whatever with Buffy. So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm glad you said all that because I was curious where you were going to go with that, like from the beginning of the episode where we started. Like whenever I initially, obviously, I only have myself to like sit with on this and stuff like that, and that's why I posed the like option of like saying, was this a green flag? I wouldn't call it a green flag. I don't know what color I would call it. Obviously not red. I think that there's parts of him, and I'm not trying to like. I'm gonna like this is gonna be one big story that I'm trying to like put together right now. So like I gotta have parts to it, but like just him coming off of being really excited for this girl and him thinking that they can make it work and fighting the odds against the odds that are now being posed to him of her saying like no, like it seems like everything she's bringing up is so circumstantial to like what's occurring and like what she's been through in the past, and it seems like in his mind probably like a little bit of a cop out because she's using the excuse of like this monster life that he knows he's a part of. He knows like what they're doing and stuff like that, like on his side of things. So he's like,
Totally.
well,
Yeah.
we got this pretty controlled. Like I don't see what you mean. And like you said, he doesn't have all that insight to what her life was like before in every instance of like fighting evil day by day. He's just out there like hunting these things down, and they've gotten so obviously they've caught a lot and done a lot of stuff with people and whatnot. And he's not the one actively experimenting or doing things. He's just like the hand out here in the real world helping bring them back to the facility.
And I get what you're saying too. He's using it more as a point of like common ground and relation, where she's using that as a point of like contingency. Like this is why it can't work. Yeah.
And obviously he's like, the part I like about it is like he just really wants to give it a chance because they do like one another. And I think he's reading so much into Buffy of knowing, because like as we see by the end and as we know from Buffy, she wants this too. She's just not letting herself have it. So like on both sides, it's kind of a problem there because she's kind of just denying herself. Not fully, but I came down on the side of it because like I'll just read what I wrote. I was like, I mean, you could read this as him being too persistent and ignoring Buffy's words, but I think he senses the truth that Buffy is being stubborn and using all this as an excuse because let's face it, she is using a lot of the stuff. Like Riley, in my opinion, maybe not at face value, and if I was going through the situation, I didn't experience the trauma that Buffy did, so I can't even speak for that, but I know all the experience that she had with like Angel and what she's been through and stuff with men and whatnot. So I feel like some of these components is like she doesn't want to let herself be happy because here she is dealing with another fucking apocalypse. She just came off all this other stuff that's been going on in her life and everything that she's dealing with currently, this new like since high school ended, as a callback to that as well, and now she's immersed herself into college life. In the first few episodes she's having such a hard time adjusting to this new life too, so she hasn't had it easy so far, quote unquote, this season. True. And I did continue to write. I was like, even if there's underlying truths to her angle, which is fair on her side, she knows how this story could go, but she's also denying herself the option of trying again. She was all fine with Riley before the two understood who one another were. So what's changed here? Maybe, you know, just the stuff that she's been through and also doesn't know what the initiative is doing could be like an issue too, because she doesn't have answers on whether they can be trusted and stuff. But that's not a part of her voicing that at all. She didn't say, well, I don't know about your stuff. Like, you ain't telling me stuff. Like, I don't know about your past or where you come from or what you guys are doing down there, like, other than making vampires not harmless. You know what I mean? Like, I just kill them, like, whatever. But it feels like it's very just doom and gloom this episode for her. And she's like, I can't be the Slayer and date someone. And I'm like, then why did you even entertain it? Like, and then I think all recedes off of the Angel whenever it comes. That's why he had to bring up that point here, being like, oh, I want to throw in there also, I think some guy did this to you in the past, and this is all a burnout from that as well.
Mhm.
And it's all truth, like you said. He's voicing
It's totally
truths
true.
here.
Yeah.
So that's my argument as like what I wouldn't call it. I call it an agreement because I'm not arguing, but like that's my argument on Buffy, is like where I get frustrated a little bit with her, because I'm like, then why have you been entertaining it if you already are going to come to this conclusion the second something starts to get serious? Like, why are you edging him on? Like, why did you even do, you know what I mean?
No, I get it. I think it's normal for Buffy and her circumstances to probably feel like a little bit of a need to self-preserve, so it's like there's probably this fine line between wanting to experience a normal life and part of that being a relationship and having a boyfriend, and then there's this other part that's kind of like, are you risking putting anyone who gets too close to you in harm's way, especially if you date them, and especially if you become intimately or romantically involved, like you are kind of running a risk and that's regardless if Riley's a normal, quote unquote, normal person, or whether he has the job that he has, I think that like ultimately these two end up in the same conversational space even after the second time that he tries to approach this topic. And that, I guess, is my point from the beginning, is kind of like, at the end of it all, whether you got to prove your point and you feel better now or not, you still are left at the same place, which is Buffy telling you it's her call, it's her choice, and you gotta wait. Like, you either gotta wait or you gotta accept the no, and that's it. And I think that's my frustration, and I'm sure a lot of women's frustration with men in general, is kind of like, I'm here for your persuasion. Wait till I fucking come to you. I've already said no. I don't need it right now. Wait until I arrive in the same
I
place.
think fairly, I would have been like 10 times more annoyed with it had he have done it a third time around. He got it this time. It took 2 times because she didn't tell him in the beginning.
But it should only take one.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I'm a
Next time, write a letter to me if you want to get your point across. That way I can read it when fucking I want to.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe you've dealt with this in a different way than I have on my side of things, especially since you keep referring specifically to women having to deal with this from men and stuff. But I can be kind of persistent in life. And it's usually only because I know that there's like I know the person on the other side already. I already know that you want the apple and you're just telling me you don't want to eat the apple. And I'm like, you just literally talking about all week about how you want a fucking apple, and all of a sudden you don't want an apple no more. You know what I mean? So I already, so I'm not like just doing it to be stubborn, but I also am respectful. I don't really do that anymore. If somebody tells me no the first time, just as I would want like my autonomy respected and like my stance on things and whatever the case it needs to be, if I say no, no means no. So she's already said it once. Like I agree fully with you saying like he should have just like backed off, but he's just letting his excitement get in the way. And maybe that's another reason why people don't care for Riley, is just because of instances like this, sort of. You know what I mean?
He's kind of impulsive. Yeah. I think that like it's also a good learning curve in general, whether like you're listening or you're watching the show or you're just listening to this episode and you need a life tip, because I feel like anytime I've experienced stuff like this, whether I'm on the giving end or the receiving end, when you let people do them and have their space, if that's what they're asking, it's 9 times out of 10 that they're going to come back to you faster with whatever it is that they've made up their mind about, whether it's good or bad. But you're going to get that sense of relief that you're looking for without having to come back and chase it again, and odds are if you just sit and be patient, it's fine. Like you got to just like surrender sometimes to someone telling you like it's going to have to be on their time, and you're going to have to respect that. And that is regardless of what genders are at play. That's kind of just like human decency. If someone's telling you no, it's no.
I think my mindset on it is different from whenever I was like younger, and that's where I'm more playing that into, because like I said, this day and time, no means no, and like I absolutely understand boundaries, like, so I know that, and I've learned.
And why are you gonna waste your own time? Like I don't want to feel like I'm pushing someone to do something, or I'm having to persuade you, or I'm having to like pitch anything to you. Like if your organic reflex is no, I don't want to be the common denominator on changing your mind, because then later, if you hate it like you say you're going to, then it's my fucking fault.
And at the end of the day,
just come to the
at the end of the day too, if you just want to say that and like you're saying like give me some time and maybe I'll come back, the worst that's going to happen is like he's moved on at that point, and then he'd be like, well, sorry bitch, I tried to give you a chance, I actually tried to give it to you twice annoyingly, sorry, but now you want to come back to me, like I'm already moved on, I'm doing my own thing now, or this is occurring, or whatever the case may be. I just don't feel the same way anymore. Or you shut me down different. Like or you might be super excited like anybody else, like that person that's sitting there being like, texting someone and they don't text them for 3 days, and then the second they text them again, they'd be like, hey, and they'd be like, they've been talking for 3 days, I ain't texting that motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. They say, hey, they'd be like right there on their phone, tap, 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 tap. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? Like, let's get married. Yeah, let's move in together. Hey, did you say you wanted to move in? Like, yeah, all that stuff. Interesting angles and stuff, but I do fall on the side of things that, like, you're right. Like, he should have only asked the one time. But what a kind of episode will we have if there wasn't any persistence and strain? Because obviously he doesn't naturally convince her. Everything that else unfolds the rest of the episode is what kind of convinces the two of them that they can be okay. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's just kind of like a different angle when you know by the ending that Buffy, and what I know in the future, like that she initiates a full-on relationship with him, and she did want this. She was just like, she was like kind of processing and trying to figure things out. But I think she shouldn't have said no, because that's not what she was wanting. So she was kind of lying. You know what I mean? I don't want to call it a lie, and this is where I'm going to kind of leave that at.
Yeah.
I think she should have said, Riley, I need time. I need to sit and think on this, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming up for me right now. And if you give me some time, maybe then I'll deliver it. Like right now, I feel like my answer is leaning towards no, but I might be wavered by like that differently. I'm not going to say I'm not completely unwavered, but I need a moment, because you're coming on a little strong. Like,
yes, but I think that's what confuses me throughout the episode about this thing specifically, is because initially when we open up to their conversation that we were left with last episode, that is how things are left. They're both kind of in agreement in a neutral place where they're like, ooh, we both need some time. We need to take some time to process this and think about it. So that's another reason why I'm like, you guys both knew what you needed the whole time. You know, Riley just wasn't willing to like wait.
Listen, this is such an annoying thing too, because coming off of last episode where they couldn't communicate and they had not been knowing how to communicate with each other beforehand, and then not being able to communicate, and then coming back in this episode and trying to like force communication like on both sides. Like,
I know, you would think that waiting would be fine when you've just spent a whole time like being able to not communicate. Okay, it'll be okay if you wait another day, you know, like process your emotions.
And she's not being mean to him either. I will say that too. Like, even whenever she like said it in the cemetery, she's like, Riley, my answer's no. And even here, she still kind of said like, no, like, and then he's obviously bummed by it and like walks away, and he's just like, okay, I'm done. Like, you know, unfortunately it did take him the 2 times.
And the final point she made was the most valid one, which was that it is her business. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter the circumstances, and it doesn't matter if you think you know what they are, and you know that a guy broke her heart, and you know that all this is complicated. It's still her business, you know? So it's like she just keeps having to remind him of what she said earlier. So that's why I'm like, Riley.
Yeah.
Go away.
So true. So true. Interesting.
But it is hard to say, because there are the girls that are like, I want my guy fighting for me all the time.
And I think that's where my maybe it triggers me in that way too, is that there's been so many times, even if it was like when I was dating people in the past, and like they were the type to like throw the cold shoulder and silent treatment on me, and like after an argument or things like that. And obviously we're already in the relationship at that point. It's not like a starting to, and obviously this can happen in platonic relationships, work, business, like whatever the case. And you kind of want someone to fight for you. I've always, my whole life, wanted someone to fight for me, and it's very few people that actually stand up and do it. Most people will, suffering from, obviously this is bringing up issues on abandonment. You know what I mean? It is like a triggered wound, because I was always the opposite of that happened to me growing up in multiple situations, whether that be through my parents. I'm like, just want to sit and have a talk, and they disregard it and everything like that. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna be persistent and come at your ass, because if not, you're not fucking listening. Especially if you're so quick to just say no. It triggers those types of wounds for me. So it's kind of like, I feel the need to have to come back and say things and go a little harder, because I want people to do that for me. Like, anytime, like if me and you were to have an argument and stuff like that, I don't really want to go through you being upset with me for a few days for you to like coming through your own thing. But I let you do that. You know what I mean? Because I know that's how you need to do too, specifically because we've had issues like that where I've needed to give you space for a couple of days and let you come back to me and talk to me about something, or vice versa sometimes. And I know that's happened outside of your life with other people, and it has with mine as well too. But that usually people kind of respect that. But at the end of the day, most of the time they're just texting me, and I can choose to ignore that message for a little bit while I sit and process. They're not right there in front of my face where I've got to like unravel all that at one time.
Right
exactly.
away.
And that's one of the biggest things, is like, you can't expect someone to give you a response immediately on something. So
No, but I think that like we just also proved how complicated things can get when you're not actually taking the time to thoroughly communicate, and how like easy that is to do given on any kind of restraint, whether you have a restraint on time and you don't have the time to have a lengthy conversation, or your emotions get too heated, or whatever the case. Like, it's so easy for someone like Buffy and me to misinterpret someone's actions like Riley's and misinterpret it as a little bit of aggression when he's really just a little more sensitive to what's going on, so therefore he feels the need to kind of step in and make sure that he's being heard. But and then from his angle, I think he's right in what he's saying, but I think it's easy to misinterpret that her whole point is to just create this wall between them and keep him at a distance and push him away, instead of listening to what she's saying when she's saying like, hey, I just need time.
She has her
It's my
reasons.
choice.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, and I think that like, just like you're saying, you come from a different place, and I think a lot of these things are stemmed not just from what we experience in our like young adult to adult life, but a lot of it does come from our childhood and how we were raised and how our parents decided to deal with us and those kinds of dynamics that we were exposed to. So it's really layered and deep seated, the way that you communicate about intimate things. And I feel like in this case scenario, to just end up back at the point where Buffy wanted to be to begin with, it's kind of like, I get Riley's passion for it and it is understandable, and I do get people who probably agree with it, because like you said, there's an element behind it that's him fighting for the situation, and that's not to go unacknowledged or unnoticed. That is simply what he's doing. He's not like trying to be manipulative, but it's easy for someone like Buffy to, I think, misinterpret it as that when he's not respecting her boundaries. So I think that's kind of like the little bit of a blurred line,
for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This horse has been beat the fuck, and I'm ready to move on.
Let's move on.
Outside the Sunnydale Museum, Willow and Xander fail to find any trace of the word of Valios, this leaving Spike in hopes he could be actually dead like he wants sooner than he thinks. And Willow once again stands for his existence, noting he will just adjust to this new unlife that he has. Spike takes the opportunity to attack them emotionally because he doesn't want to end up like these two, useless. He mocks Xander's lack of direction in life, attributing his lowest accomplishment literally being the basement life, and Willow's inability to hold on to Dog Boy Oz. Maddie calls him Dog Boy. Like, did you even really know he was a werewolf? Like, calm down. What the fuck? He was not around for that. Boy, go on. More importantly, he attacks their place in Buffy's life. According to Spike, Buffy doesn't need them at all. They're nothing more than dead weight she constantly has to save. Willow and Xander argue back, but Spike's words clearly hit a nerve. For all his cruelty, he's touching on insecurities both of them already carry, walking off with a smirk at a job well done, because this is how he can hurt people, as the two ponder behind him at what they've just taken in. I like that, because he walks off and he's got his like stride going. He's like, wow,
he's
great.
such an ass.
He's like, that made me feel good. He's like, all right, great. Back with Giles, he finally discovers the truth about the word of Valios after seeing its image in a book, realizing not only that it's a talisman, but worse, one that he already keepsakes. He moves to retrieve it from a collection of things he has, but before he can warn anyone, the three vala demons, whatever the fuck their name, demons burst into his apartment and beat him unconscious, stealing the talisman for their ritual. When the Scoobies return, they find Giles bruised but alive. Poor Giles is literally scraped the fuck up. He's sitting there with a damn ice pack to his head or cloth or whatever the fuck it was, and explaining that, they have the possession of the talisman. They comment on like how all the other ingredients had to be assembled by now, and now they can just basically go to perform the ritual. Buffy confused, questioning where, and if he found out what the ritual is for, him claiming they're going to open up the Hellmouth. Yes, the one in the library. Everyone's face grows cold at this mention. Buffy stands and acknowledges to the group it looks like they're going back to high school. Yay! Which then, cutscene transition match to the remains of the burned down, imploded Sunnydale High School.
They're urbexing again.
Absolutely. My first question right here was in my note saying, Courtney, you exploring this bando?
Probably.
Did you think about that at all when you were watching?
Hell yeah. What do you mean? I would go in anywhere they've verbexed in this show already. Even the old like science lab from whatever season that was. I'd be in all up in these places.
I will say, like, this is an exciting portion of the episode because you don't really know that this is necessarily coming until you find out that, I mean, you know the apocalypse is impending, but you don't know it's like the Hellmouth version of apocalypse, which is very interesting. But I also think it's so cool that we get to go back to the high school and see like it in ruins. You know, it is like a literal abandoned building now, and we like got to spend 3 years there seeing it in its natural glory, and now we get to see, I mean, obviously this is a set built for it and stuff, but they took the time to actually make it look like it was burned down and like collapsed and all this other stuff.
I know.
Like just to see it this condition was really cool. All the little notes and stuff that come around with it too. Obviously inside we find them moving through the burned hallways and crumbling remains of their old world. Buffy's complaining about the fact that Spike's there, especially since he can't fight, and how he's making cracks on how he wishes the bandit would collapse on all of them. And now she's wondering why him offing himself would be bad. She's like, again, I asked, like, why is him? She's like, if we leave him alone, Willow. She's like, if we leave him alone, he'll hurt himself. And she's like, and that's bad because. I'm like, exactly, Buffy, thinking what I thought earlier. She's like, but fine, whatever, he can stay. I like these cuts in the hallway along the convo because Xander steps on that piece of demon flesh and he's like, oh, mare meat, extra crispy. And it's like a rib cage with like actual big meat and like scales and stuff. So I'm like, oh shit, the fact that was still there is so cool. I have a really fun fact for you that I'm going to spill right now just because it makes sense in the scene, but it was deleted from this part of the conversation. And the experience goes like this. They wrote that Catherine would appear to still be stuck in her trophy. In the dialogue, Willow steps on another piece of debris. We close down on the debris and it's a cheerleading trophy, black with smoke damage. And it, obviously we know it's Amy's mother. Still entombed, her eyes dart desperately as Willow's foot comes crashing down on her. After Willow moves off, Amy's mom glares at them despite her impotence. Back on the gang, unaware of the life form in their midst. Like, that was supposed to be a scene where, like, Willow steps on the trophy. Cool. I should have just said it and read it my own words, but that's what it had on the page. And I've always thought that would be a cool little element. Like, how would that be? Like, such a huge callback. It's like the 3rd episode of the series. And she walks through and steps on the damn trophy. And it's like, oh, shit. And you just, like, see it. And then, like, but we see her eyes still moving. I'm like, why didn't y'all film that and keep it in there?
That would be great.
I would have fucking loved that. But just knowing that was something that they cut or decided to toss out, but it was an idea, just sends me, because I absolutely, like, love that callback. They eventually reach what used to be the library. They find the 3 Valral demons standing around the cracked opened Hellmouth, preparing to complete the ritual. Obviously, then the battle erupts. Buffy runs in. I didn't even expect her. You just see her running there, like they cut, and like she's like, I stopped them or whatever. And then all of a sudden, bam, she's running in the fucking full force. I'm like, okay. Willow and Xander scramble to secure the ritual ingredients. And I laughed my ass off this time around more than anything whenever they're playing like hot potato with the bag of bones. That because Willow like is like, I got the bones, and she's running around. Then she starts passing it back and forth. And then eventually she tosses it over to Spike, and the demon just looks at him and growls. And he's like, oh, fuck. Like, he just thinks he's like useless at this point too, so he's like, okay, I'm about to get smacked the fuck down. The demon fighting Xander leaves him after getting pummeled some and hurls itself into the Hellmouth, carrying the blood sacrifice. Suddenly the truth becomes clear, and it's not that Xander won against the demon, because in his mind he goes, I guess I won. No, and it's that the demons themselves are the sacrifice, which he then screams out. During the fight, Spike has his own breakthrough. After being repeatedly punched by one of the demons, he finally swings back. I like this moment too, because he swings and instinctively he grabs his head because he expects it's going to hurt, only there's nothing. And he discovers that fighting demons causes him no pain.
No pain? I can hurt a demon. That's right. I'm back, and I'm a bloody animal.
That realization becomes very exhilarating for him, and for the first time since being chipped, Spike can fight again. Delighted at the fact that he's back and is a bloody animal, he unleashes months of pent-up aggressions on the demon before accidentally throwing it into the Hellmouth, completing another portion of the ritual. Even though Willow and Xander scream no, and Xander just screamed it out loud, they're like, no, not in the hole. He's just like, well, I thought I was helping. Yeah, helping to end the world. The fuck? Like, he really didn't mean to. Like, I get it, because he even takes that moment in. He's like, oops, like, my bad, you guys. But he was also like, oh, well, whatever. Shit.
He's like, what are we gonna do now?
What do you think about Spike being able to hurt demons?
Very interesting.
Yes.
But I'm happy for him because, like you said, I think it saves things in many ways, but mostly so he can finally get out some pent-up aggression that he likely has a lot of.
Which is literally...
Especially after living with Xander in the basement.
Oh my god, he's got a lot of it. He can't do anything else like that most people would do to release some aggression, so...
And we know he can't eat any fruit roll-ups, so...
Yes, because that's totally pertinent in this conversation.
Well, I'm just saying, Xander usually
But listen,
has
why haven't we got a scene with his mom hollering down, do you and your little platinum friend want a snack? Has she even seen him? I tell you that she thinks her son is a fucking hustler because he's got this old man over there. He's got this girl that comes around all the time. Now he's got some platinum blonde, like 26-year-old looking guy. Like... What does she think? She's like, oh, you got friends more outside that Willow and that girl with the funny name.
Bunny.
That's Willow's mom. You know, she still calls and she's like, Willow, how's college going? How's Bunny? Willow just goes, she's fine, Mom. As the building begins collapsing around them, Buffy calls out to the others to retreat out of the school, and then Riley suddenly arrives to help Buffy battle the final demon. Together, they manage to hold it off, but not before it dives into Hellmouth carrying the talisman. That shit trips me out too, because it's just like scuffling against the ground. You see it pick up the talisman and just whoop down in the fucking hole. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, here we go. Without hesitation, Buffy plans to leap in after it with nothing. She just said, I'm hopping in. Riley secures a cable around her waist and anchors himself to the collapsing floor. Buffy sails down the cavern, you know, because now she's on this fucking little trinket that he brought out, eventually grabbing onto the demon. Moments later, emerging from the depths, dragging the dead demon behind her. The earthquake ceases, the Hellmouth closes, and the apocalypse is averted once again. Okay, but y'all know I'm gonna comment on it. What the fuck is this little cord thingy that secures Buffy? And all of a sudden she can drop multiple fucking stories down in this thing and grab this demon that's heavier than her and hoist it for a bit. That thing looked about as thin, like that, like this wire. I got my damn microphone.
Like my tape measurers fit thicker than that
and more durable. Like as long as you hold on to the other side. Like what is this made of? And then he just straps it around that like bar, that piece of rebar that's hanging out on the side. I'm just like, this. Everyone always complains about this. It doesn't make no goddamn sense. I mean, I get it. It's a TV show and it's about what it's about, but I'm like, at least Batman's grapple hooks and things like that look 10 times more convincing as something that would help him scale buildings and swing around and shit. Like it's not even a cable. Like, yeah, it's like so. I'm like, oh my god,
it's like a shoelace.
It's literally a fucking shoelace. Like exactly. That's and how long is this damn thing? He all running and he catches it like it goes, and he's like, I got you. He's like, I'm gonna pull you in. And he ain't got no damn gloves on. Boy, what the.
That I'm like, now I don't care what you're standing behind or what you think you've supported between you and Buffy and the weight and everything else, but there ain't no way that you're just standing up.
They did that drop visually for us for the extensiveness of it. Like I liked it. Obviously, we got to see like inside, like as she's sailing down and things like that. Yada yada, whatever. I might have something really interesting to bring up about this way later on in the series, but if I remember, I hope I do. Maybe
you're like, but for now,
no. But like. Obviously, if she hopped over the thing, yeah, like if it was just her, like, and she only went like maybe 15 feet down or something, yes, maybe that thing would have been done. Like, but it looked like, like I said, stories down. Looked like she's all like fucking like Mission Impossible sailing through the damn thing as the demon's going down too. And I'm just like, how does she catch up to him? Like he was before. I'm not even going to spend any more time on it. I'm just like, this is stupid, but whatever. The apocalypse is averted. Afterward, Buffy and Riley reunite with Willow, Xander, and Spike. Riley makes an embarrassingly transparent attempt to explain away his G.I. Joe outfit by claiming he was out playing paintball. Nobody believes him.
No.
Even Buffy struggles not to laugh, and Xander announces for them that he is one of the commandos, and Riley again babbles that this is not the case. Of course not. Like, no. Taking notice in his flustered state to Spike, standing there by them and being like, hey, don't I know you? And Spike quick to put on a fake accent and be like, who, me? No, sir. I'm just an old pal of Xander's here.
That was so hilarious.
I was like, okay. He goes, oh, that's nice. And then they all head out together. Xander comments to Willow how it's kind of weird being back here, isn't it? Her agreeing and how everything seems so small now, along with the charred and ruiny vibes this bando carries. The next day, Buffy visits Riley in his dorm room. Oh, look who came around. Now that the apocalypse isn't here anymore, all of a sudden she's better. Okay, well, let's have it in here. She had a night to sleep on it, I guess. Women. Riley is convinced his career is over now that Buffy's friends know the truth, along with I'm dumb. I wrote with her friends know the truth, along with all her friends.
That's
so important.
everyone.
I needed you guys to know twice. I swear. Well, I don't know what I'd be writing. He's like, this is so not good. To him, he's finished. It's the end of the world. Buffy assures him that it's not the end of the world. Then finally letting go of her fear, she steps toward him and kisses him. So clearly they're going to be together, and Courtney thinks it's appropriate. She's going, but I like that how he goes, it's the end of the world. And it's like a fun play because they just like tolerated the possibility of the end of the world for the first time, and his first time too. And Buffy's like, that's not what the end of the world looks like, sweetie. I promise it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, but it's so cute. I really like that. Their little music cues in again and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, sweet. You think that's the final scene, but it's not. Our actual final scene, Willow and Xander are relaxing in his basement, watching TV, when Spike turns that shit off, saying, nah, that's too boring. There's evil still afoot. Newly energized by his discovery that he can still hurt demons, suddenly he's eager to fight evil, save the puppies, defend Christmas, and hunt vampires, whatever, all the things. The Scoobies stare at him in disbelief as Spike enthusiastically embraces heroism, all for the wrong reasons. Let's fight that evil. Let's kill something. Come on. We fade to black and here in the episode.
With him saying, come on.
I love it. He's like, come on for everything. Let's do it. Let's kill it. Let's fight that evil. I'm just like, bruh. That's just so funny and so comical. I'm like, I love that you're so happy to be alive again. I'm like, why do you need them? Go out there and just start picking fights with vampires and shit like that. If that's the case, if you feel like you're just so excited that you can cause some problems, go pick fights at damn vampire bars, or go to Willie's and go kick all the demons' asses in there. Like, ain't seen Willie in damn forever. Like, that motherfucker non-existent. You remember Willie?
He got his ass beat too many
I guess
times.
That's true. Well, like everybody else with the themes of metaphor that I always read at the end of this. So here to do it. What is this episode about, you guys? What do you think? Well, clearly it's about confronting the stories we tell ourselves about our future. Buffy spends most of the episode convinced that the earthquake is a sign of impending disaster, but beneath the fear is something much more personal. She's begun to view her own life through the same lens. Every major relationship she's had has ended in pain, loss, or catastrophe, and she's convinced that any future relationship is destined to follow the same path. The apocalypse becomes a metaphor for Buffy's expectation that happiness inevitably leads to disaster. Riley serves as a direct challenge to that worldview. While Buffy sees danger around every corner, Riley argues that risk is simply part of living. His perspective isn't that bad things won't happen, but they're not a reason to avoid connection altogether. Their conflict throughout the episode isn't really about whether they shouldn't date. It's about whether the future is determined by the past, which that's where I like the argument of what Riley provides, you know? The return to Sunnydale High reinforces those ideas. The gang literally finds themselves walking back into the ruins of their old lives, revisiting the Hellmouth, the library, and the place where so much of their trauma originated. Yet instead of being trapped here, they survive it. The school that once represented the center of Buffy's world is now just a burned out shell. The past is still there, but it no longer has the same power over them. The episode explores identity through Spike as well. Stripped of the ability to be the monster that he once was, he's forced to confront the question of who he is without violence. His attempted suicide, his bitterness towards Willow and Xander, and his excitement at discovering he can still fight demons all stem from the same crisis. If he can't be a villain, he has no idea who he's supposed to be. Ultimately, Doomed argues that while the past shapes us, it doesn't have to imprison us. Buffy can't change the losses she suffered, the people she's loved, or the pain that she's endured. What she can change is whether she allows those experiences to convince her that every future ending has already been written. The apocalypse has stopped, the world doesn't end, and for perhaps the first time all season, Buffy allows herself to believe that maybe this story doesn't have to end the way the others did. So maybe that's why she showed back up at Riley's door. She said, hey, Riley. She's like, you ready to fuck next episode? No. 2 from now.
Thank
3
you
from now.
telling me.
Oh, I was just saying. I was going to keep going, run out. My only other Buffy fun facts that I got is Buffy explains the difference between herself and Riley is that he treats demon hunting as a job, while for Buffy it's her destiny. This echoes Buffy's conversation with Kendra at the end of What's My Line Part 2, in which Kendra lectured Buffy about not treating slaying like a job because it's who she is. Deleted scenes, I already told you one of them. The other one was this exchange was cut. It was between Xander and Spike. he says, look at you have knees, very white knees, obviously when he's wearing the shorts. And Spike goes and sits on the sofa feeling dejected. The cutoffs ride up. He stands back up, tugs them into place, and goes, damn, these things keep doing that. Xander goes, I'm not any happier about you wearing my stuff than you are. And then Spike goes, that can't be true. Don't know how you let yourself be seen in this wanker wear. And Xander says, hey, I'm known as a very sharp dresser. And I'm here to tell you that that's all a fucking lie, because we ain't ever seen Xander wear hardly anything cute. The cutest thing he wore was...
And that's why that was deleted.
Yeah, exactly. But what's not deleted is the final slays.
Final slays.
Final slays. Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius. Okay, quotes for this episode.
Quotes.
Now you'll start doing that every episode. No, just kidding. Everyone, who's your shining slayer?
Right. Final quotes.
Who's your shining slayer? Shining slayer. I'm like, bitch, stop.
Okay. So my first one was the very first thing we heard this episode, which is where Buffy says somebody should speak before one of us graduates. And then when Forrest was talking about Slayer, a rock thrash and a heavy guitar rock with delusions of Black Sabbath, and I was like, I love when people unnecessarily answer questions technically like that. And then Spike, when he was being melodramatic after he shrunk the clothes, talking about I hate it here, which I've already said. Willow talking about the dead guy in the bed when she's like, not me dead, he dead. And then my last one is Forrest when he's basically giving away his gay crush on Riley and getting mad about hearing about Buffy for the 18th time, when he's like, she's cool, she's hot, she's tepid, she's all temperature Buffy.
Yeah, man. I like how you chose Forrest quotes. I have a Forrest quote too, is whenever he was like, Slayer's kind of this boogeyman the subterrestrials tell their spawn that makes them eat their vegetables and clean their slime pits. So I never thought I would like have a quote that I thought was cool that Forrest said. Another one was when Xander called Spike a mooch, and he said he must be forgetting who's paying for the plasma around here, because that's what it was. It wasn't blood. He said plasma, and I'm like, obviously we know plasma's in blood, so I was like, that's a fun little way to put that. I like when Giles, whenever he goes, oh, as usual, dear. Like, instead of saying, oh, because he's like, big on saying, oh, dear, all the time when something bad's going to happen. But now he's like us, oh, as per usual, dear. Because he found out that he had the fucking talisman. And I'm like, oh, shit. Giles had like a very minimal like portion to this episode, I will say. Like, he wasn't featured as much.
Yeah.
He thought that like he would be like going back to high school with them, or like having some kind of like trivial stuff come up. And I was like, no, it's all the children, including Spike. Then I had Xander when the demon's beating him up against the high school wall, and he's like, you got the wrong guy, dude. I had a lot of practice with my lunch money, and punches the demon. And then my last one is Buffy with that comment about Faith having so much fun on the job and being in a coma because of it. I was like, oh shit. Like, because I mean, by this point you've forgotten, like all of us have, like Faith's just chilling in a fucking coma, and then you're like, oh. And just the way it comes,
I know, you do kind of
like,
forget.
I'm like, oh shit, you're not wrong, Buffy. Like, it's not only just Angel and all this other trauma. You had a friend that like got fucked up last season and like did you wrong too, that you're also backlashing off of too. So I'm like,
yeah, but also her statement is such a like, it speaks so much on Faith, because she was such kind of like, she was very impulsive and just kind of did whatever and didn't really play by the book. And so for Buffy just to chalk it up to be like, because she had so much fun on the job.
Well,
it's the episode of low blows.
Well, speaking of low blows and people that will never be Shining Slayer, who's yours? Because clearly Faith has never been a Shining Slayer.
It ain't Faith, I know that.
Fake Lane.
Okay, so first goes to Xander for figuring out the demons are the sacrifice, and then clearly Buffy and Riley for saving the day physically.
I gave it to them too, because obviously I like really the whole gang like for averting the apocalypse, except Giles. Well, I'm giving Giles not so much credit because obviously he couldn't go to the house because he got beat the fuck up, but still. So I wrote this initially before we had our whole discussion, and initially I gave Shining Slayer to Riley for chasing hard after Buffy and not letting her give up on them. I feel a little bit different about that now, even though I'm still going to leave it because we had our discussion on it. So like we get both sides and all like angles for these characters.
No, and that's
But
still fair to
it's
say.
to me, Shining Slayer, because of where I like said I come from. I always want someone to chase after me, because most of the time, if I'm telling you no, it's because I actually mean yes. I'm just trying to be stubborn because I'm a Taurus. Most of the time, it's not as rational these days and times, but even today, like.
I can't wait till the next time you tell me no about some shit. I'm like, oh, okay. It means yes.
No. You have to be able to pick up on a fucking certain type of context for that to be valid, because obviously it comes across when I'm being serious, you gonna fucking know, and you definitely don't want me having to tell you no twice. Both of us. But at the same time, like, again, if I've been like talking about a damn apple all week and all of a sudden you got me an apple and I'm like, I don't want that now. You'd be like, you better fucking eat this damn apple.
Yeah. No, that is true.
And I'm gonna go to the kitchen and get an orange just to piss you off. Anyways, what was giving me the Wiggins?
Where's my Wiggins? Oh
shit! What? What's your face like?
The way that freaking Riley and Buffy just ditched Amy during the earthquake.
The best weekly wigs I've had this whole series. Are you fucking serious?
They did. This bitch, she had the courtesy to try and forewarn y'all by starting
to go crazy to the door frame.
Like, hey, something's happening. And then as soon as the earth starts shaking, they're like, fuck that bitch, we need to protect ourselves. And they just leave her there vulnerable for the building to collapse on top of her poor rat ass. Like, damn.
Buffy got pulled over under the door frame by like dead, whatever that frame of the door is called, like door frame. I can't remember if they were at the closet or if they went to the main thing. I just remember he put them in some kind of sport.
Yeah, I think
the closet. Like yeah, and he like, he's like some rad, and I'm like, Amy's over there looking like, damn, y'all didn't even think about me.
I know. She's like, here I was trying to forewarn you.
That's funny. Those are the funniest ones with me. Like whenever, whether that be Slade moment or Slayer, like all the things. Whenever it's something so minute and stupid, like I fucking love that. But that's serious. Like, but I love the fact that once again, Amy's just like randomly in the episode, like as the rat. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing. That
randomly being dismissed.
Like, well, I couldn't let her be dismissed. Even in my verbiage, like where I wrote it out, I was like, Amy over here, like starts stirring her cage before like announcing that all the things. So my wigs was, as a joke, extra crispy mare meat, because gross. Like the fact that it's still been chilling in there and it still kind of looks pink. I'm like, it's like jerky gross on the damn floor. You know, Xander was over there talking about, I'm gonna take this home because I ain't got much food in my house. Like raccoons and shit probably been up in there eating and gnawing on that damn shit and fucking bugs and stuff. I'm like, but that was my joking one. My actual one was Riley chasing so hard after Buffy and not letting her give up on this. Because like I said, I was like kind of on both sides of the fence. So I wrote this for my Shining Slayer and I wrote it for my weekly wigs. Not being able to tell, not take.
You're like,
I wrote
we
in
all
capital
have
letters.
Can't take personality disorder during this.
Literally, I wrote
or bipolar.
My last thing in big letters says "can't take no" for an answer. Listen, at least you know I'm like good about seeing all sides. Like I'm a devil's advocate at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be hard on one alley. I'm gonna travel both roads. We're gonna go through all of them, roundabouts and everything.
That is crazy.
Once again, that made my jaw hurt a little bit because of the smile. What's slayed you this episode? Riley walking off from Buffy whenever she finally told him no the second. I'm just kidding. Let me stop.
No. I know, right? I should have put Buffy saying no, not one, but two, but three times, and not yet killing Riley.
She could do it.
That's what's late. But seriously, what's late is Buffy reading Riley for filth and him not really knowing what to do, and he's like, too good, actually, when she like nails it on the head, and she's like, this is who you are, where you're from, what you do, what it looks like behind closed doors, your best friend, your mom's name, your social security number, like all the things. I was like, damn.
I like at the end too, whenever she's like, he says something, he's like, what do you want about your friends to know now? My security code and rank. She goes, you have a security code and rank? He's like, fuck. I'm like,
and then he goes, this is not good. He knows he's never going to be able to.
That shit was funny. Mine was Spike going ham on that demon and unleashing his rage that he's been carrying, just because I like seeing him like fight in this way. Like it was just different. We've only ever seen him fight Drusilla whenever it comes to evil. And like we saw him in Lover's Walk fight all those vampires along with Buffy and them and stuff. And he was really like thrilled with that too. So I like the fact that just the fact of killing evil like does this for him. It doesn't really matter as long as he's causing chaos. He's kind of exhilarated by it, so we're happy for him.
Yeah.
All right, Slayer at Prediction. The next episode, which if you don't remember, which you probably don't, I told you a couple episodes ago when we did Hush, when we were with Kayla, and I was like, well, I accidentally told you that and spoiled it, but I know you don't remember. See,
Definitely not.
the next episode's title is A New Man.
A new man.
I'm so excited.
Oh, no. It's Spike. Is it Spike centered?
It is a male centered episode though.
Well,
and it's one we haven't had in a very long time.
Oh, really? Is it Xander?
Nope. Even
Giles.
Giles.
Okay.
Giles
yeah.
centered.
Oh yes. Okay, I remember you saying this now a couple episodes ago.
Contextually, you probably forgot about it completely, but yeah.
A new man. Oh fuck. Does Giles end up getting infected with something weird and it's turning him into a demon and therefore he's becoming a new man in the worst way? I don't know.
Or do you?
Oh, what? I don't know. Your face was confusing. I'm like, oh, I'm not close at all.
A new man. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting take for like the title and then it being Giles centered. Like,
well, and because it's Buffy, so I'm just like, what could it mean? True. He's already a man of ordinary kind. So
yeah, but he's been trying to find himself in like what he's doing. He hasn't had any big part on the show really, like here lately. You know what I mean? So
no, that's true. I guess I'm just trying to think about the evolution that he could take, like for it to be called.
Oh, cool.
That.
Well, we'll leave it there. We'll find out then.
Okay.
All right, great. We'll have another new guest joining us for that episode too, so I'm excited for everyone to meet him. That hasn't already, possibly. So there's a little breadcrumb for everybody. All right, you guys. Another one down the Hellmouth. What do you guys think of the return to the Bando version of Sunnydale High? Do you like the points made in this episode? Acknowledging our gang's past insecurities that seem to still linger. Are you Team Riley for fighting for a chance to experience a relationship with Buffy? Or are you Team Buffy for telling him fucking no? Well, what do you think of Spike being able to harm demons? Let us know. All the no's, except when it comes to Riley, because he'll ignore them. We'll catch you all next week for another episode of Angel. And until then, we'll talk to you all next time.
Goodbye, Drew. See you in hell.
What are you doing?
No, you're rot. Can't a person knock?
What are you doing?
You were trying to stake yourself. Fag off.
It's no concern of yours.
Is too. For one thing, that's my shirt you're about to dust. And for another, we've shared a lot here. You should have trusted me enough to do it for you.
Xander.
What? He wants to die? I want to help?
Hey, it's 𝐒𝐞𝐚. We know him. We can't just let him prove himself.
Oh, but you can. You know I'd drain you drier than the Sahara if I had half a chance. And besides, I'm beyond pathetic. Stuck in this basement washing skivvies for a blighter I wouldn't have bothered to bite a few months ago.
Hey.
I mean, am I even remotely scary anymore? Tell me the truth.
Well, the shirt is kind of not very threatening, and the short pants. But, you know, it could also be because I know you can't bite, which I guess isn't what you really need to hear right
Just
now.
clear out, okay?
Fine. But you break anything else while we're gone, and you'll be sleeping in the garage, Buster.
I can't leave him here like this. We'll have to take him with us to the museum.
Oh, you go on. I won't do anything. I feel better now. Promise.
Think of the happy. If we don't find what we're looking for, we're facing an apocalypse.
Really? You're not just saying that?
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Buffy on Revamped. Remember to join us next week for a new episode release as we continue our journey through Sunnydale along with our Scoobies. We would love to hear from you, so share your thoughts. Discuss with us your perspectives on this or previous week's episodes by following us on Instagram and sending us a DM at revamped_rewatch podcast or by emailing us at revampedrewatchpod@gmail.com.
And if you're interested in A World Left Behind, check out my show, Echoes of Elsewhere, an urban exploration podcast where I uncover the hidden mysteries of forgotten places, interview other explorers, and share with you my tips and tricks of the trade. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time,
The Earth is definitely doomed. This podcast is dedicated to the Buffyverse, to its fans, and my sister, Tiffany Dawn Pearson.